50-year-old teacher's assistant Jacqueline Virgin is suing 52-year-old political consultant Tommy Hobbs for failing to get her son out of jail.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 313 on the calendar in the matter of Virgin versus Hobbs. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Virgin, your son is currently incarcerated, is that correct?
Yes, he is.
And he's incarcerated already having been sentenced, and his sentence, according to you, is 20 years?
Yes.
What was he convicted of?
Aggravated robbery case that he wasn't involved in.
According to your complaint, you hired the defendant and paid the defendant $500 because he promised you $550 because he promised you that within a year, through his efforts, he would get your son out of jail.
Yes.
And according to you, he did nothing and you want your money back.
Yes.
Defendant says he did accept $550 because of his expertise. There were no guarantees of anything. And as it happens, he was not even hired to process an appeal for your son, but to try to get some money back for lawyers that you had paid over the course of your son's trials and appeals. How did you meet him?
Through my daughter. My daughter was talking about my son's case on her job, and one of her co-workers overheard her talking about the case, and she told her that she knew a person who could help get my son out of prison.
Step up, please. Tell me your last name.
Smith.
Did you make contact with the defendant, Miss Smith? Did you personally, or did your mother?
My mother.
So tell me, Miss Virgin, about the conversation that you had with the defendant when you called him.
Well, when I called him, he gave me his address, and I met with him at his house.
At his house?
At his house.
He didn't have a place of business?
No.
Go ahead.
I met with him at his house, and he told me that he's done other cases like this, and he could guarantee that he would have my son out by this time next year.
Now, Mr. Hobbs, what kind of work do you do, sir?
I'm a consultant, Your Honor.
What kind of consultant?
I'm a political consultant.
What do you mean, a political consultant? Who are your clients?
My clients are people who are running for office, who are running for judge, who are running for political office, Congress, and all over.
And how long have you been doing this sort of work, sir?
Almost 8 years.
Tell me your version of the conversation.
The conversation went like this. Do you want me to start at the beginning, Your Honor?
Yes.
She contacted me on a Sunday. She was desperate, and I told her to come on over. She said, Mr. Hobbs, I have 5 attorneys that owe me money. And I said, you know, if we would talk to them, Ms. Virgin, we'd probably get our money back. They don't want to see you in court or nothing like that. I say, maybe I can. Let me call them and contact them. Got on the phone. She was on the phone with me. I called 3 ways. I said, Mr. So-and-so, you have took $2,000 from Miss Virgin. She needs her money back, or she needs an appeal filed from her. He said he would have the appeal filed Tuesday of next week, or he would send her money back. I called back that Tuesday. The appeal had not been filed. He was not finished with it. She was angry. I called back the following week. He did not have the appeal. I said, this is what we'll do. Send her half of her money back for the work that you've done already, which is $1,000, and we'll present that to Ms. Virgin so she could go get another attorney, which she wanted. I took her to the best appeals attorney, they say, quote unquote, in Texas. We sit down 2 hours and talk to this attorney. He asked her, do you want to go ahead with this appeal? This is going to cost you $5,000. She said, yes. As soon as we get the money from the other lawyer, we'll come and hire you. Your Honor, I had did my job. She asked me to do something, and I did that. The attorney did never send her money or her appeal.
Miss Virgin, Mr. Hobbs indicates that the conversation was not about getting your son out of jail. The discussion that you had to do with getting some money back from one appeals lawyer so that you could pay another appeals lawyer. Does that sound familiar to you?
He told me that he knew people who could help him get my son out of prison within a year.
Your Honor, with all the respect I have for her, I would not ever in my life tell anybody in the United States or outside the United States that I could get a 20-year sentence and get her son out the state penitentiary in a year.
He told me he's done it for other people.
Your Honor.
That's the only reason
Your
why I
Honor,
gave him the $550.
Your Honor, I did not tell her that.
Did you, in fact, participate in a three-way telephone conversation with the defendant and the old lawyer that never filed the brief?
Yes, I did.
When you sat down with the other appellate lawyer, did you discuss with him the process that had gone on so far?
Yes, I did.
Did Mr. Hobbs participate in that conversation?
Yes.
How many hours in total, Miss Virgin, do you think Mr. Hobbs spent with you?
3.
How many hours do you think he spent reading over the transcripts, etc.?
45 minutes.
So that's 4 hours. I want to know, sir, what particular expertise do you have with regard to reading over transcripts, making a determination as appeals? Do you have any legal training?
No, ma'am. My quest is getting the lawyer to do her thing, the best lawyer that we can, on a reasonable price. Miss Virgin do not have no money. She do not have money to pay me.
I gather, Mr. Hobbs, that both Miss Smith and her mother needed a spokesperson.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is really what you were hired for.
No, Miss Judy, I was hired to get her a good appeals lawyer.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jacqueline Virgin says political consultant Tommy Hobbs promised to get her son released from jail. Jacqueline says her son is still incarcerated and she wants a refund.
Did you finally get somebody to process an appeal for your son?
Yes, I got a lawyer named Charles.
Did you pay this lawyer any money, Miss Virgin?
Not yet.
And I told her not to.
Why is that?
Judge Judy, she sent me to the streets to find out about her son. She introduced me to a fellow named... This is one of the guys who was in the game, the one that had the gun. I got to the other two guys, the neighbors, who were teenagers at that particular time. These two guys, these are bumping jack guys.
What is bumping jack?
Bumping jack means any old lady, old man you catch coming out the apartment who had just got off an airplane, they bump and jack them. They beat them up and take their money.
Got it. Beat him up.
Come to find out, her son's nickname in the streets is Bat.
What? Bat?
Bat, like a bat, a baseball bat. He was the gang leader.
Is what you're telling me, Mr. Hobbs, that she gave you certain information and you went out to try to find that out in the street?
And give it back to the attorney that we were going to hire.
Did Mr. Hobbs ever talk to you about the fact that he had gone out and spoken to these prospective witnesses and what they told him?
No, he didn't speak to anybody. He just took my money and didn't want to refund it.
Judge Judy.
Yeah.
Stays across the bayou from me. She begged me to go over and talk to him.
Did you?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay.
Mr. is the one that had the gun.
You went to see this Mr. Mr. tells you that he was the one with the gun.
Right.
Not Miss Virgin's son.
Right, and he wanted to testify in court to that.
Okay.
So I told him, no, you're going to have to come to the appeal court that lawyer we're going to hire to give him this statement. Can you give an affidavit to me? Didn't see the guy no more. Then I caught up with him on the streets.
And?
Bat, her son, is the one, is the guy.
Is the guy that what?
He's the one that goes and rents the hotel.
So Miss Virgin's son was involved in some way in this robbery that took place?
Ma'am, yes. That's my opinion.
That was what you were told?
Yes, ma'am. Bat would go get his neighbors, these two brothers. They go to the hotel.
And what did they do with the hotel?
They rented the hotel to set up for what they was going to do.
Explain it to me.
Old lady walks out her apartment, okay?
Apartment or the hotel?
Out the hotel. Goes down the streets, right?
From the hotel?
Anywhere, going to get something to eat, right. They bump and jack her.
Miss Virgin says that her son was convicted of an aggravated robbery.
Yes, ma'am.
From what you tell me, a bump and jack is you bump somebody and you take their money and run. That's not an aggravated robbery.
If you have a weapon in it.
Yes. So somebody had a weapon.
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Your Honor, my son was involved in an aggravated robbery case that he didn't commit because he was put into a lineup as an extra, picked out as the victim in an unjust system because this is a case that he can't erase. He was put in jail without bail.
Ms. Virgin, let me ask you this question. How old was your son when he was arrested?
He was
20.
18. No, he was 20. He was 20 years old.
Now, I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to me very carefully. Prior to this arrest, how many times had your son been arrested?
My son had been arrested one time.
Before this?
Before this.
As an adult or as a juvenile?
As a juvenile.
For what?
For a possession case.
Possession of what?
What was it? Cocaine. Not cocaine, it was
What, Mr. Hobbs, do you know?
I think it was a weapon.
It wasn't coke. It wasn't a weapon. It was not a weapon.
Well, won't y'all tell her the truth?
He
then?
had some crack. He was arrested for crack on him.
Sale.
To sell?
Yes.
Not to sell.
To use?
He said he was holding it for a friend.
Miss Virgin, listen to me. I believe that you are a mother who is pretty desperate. Who is pretty
Your
desperate.
Honor, I am not
Just
desperate.
listen. Yes, you are. You're a mother who's pretty desperate. She would like her son out of jail.
I would like him out of jail because he's innocent.
Okay.
He had 8 witnesses at the trial stating where he was at the time of the robbery.
Evidently, nobody believed
And,
him. Miss Virgin, that's not up to me to determine.
Your Honor.
This case has to do with whether Mr. Hobbs did the job that he was hired to do, and that was to try to get some money back from you, from lawyers.
He
who
wasn't
had-
hired to get the money back.
I'm speaking that he was hired to do the job of trying to get some money back and get an appeals going so that your son at least had a shot of an appeals process that would result in his being exonerated of these charges. And I find that he did sufficient work to warrant the $550 that you paid him. Your case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He told me that he could get my son out of jail by this time next year.
She doesn't realize what she has as a son.
He said that he had done it for other people.
She's a good lady. She just wants her son back.
I should have won the verdict.
She's already had one nervous breakdown. She needs to get on with her life.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hayden Grapple versus Hayden Kennedy Lyons. Step forward, please.
Cindy Hayden and her son, 16-year-old Anthony Kreppel, are suing Cindy's brother, Rick Hayden, his girlfriend, Lila Kennedy, and Lila's son, 16-year-old Nicholas Lyons. Cindy says during a road trip, Nicholas assaulted her son.
All right, let's deal with this in short order if we can. Miss Hayden, the defendant is your brother, Mr. Hayden.
Yes.
Co-defendant is a friend of yours, or was a friend of yours,
Yes.
Miss Kennedy. And according to your complaint, you wanted to bring Miss Kennedy to meet your brother.
Correct.
And you arranged to go with your children and Miss Kennedy's children to where your brother lives, which was some distance away in another state,
Yes.
on sort of a road trip / vacation, whatever. So far correct?
Correct.
And you say that while there, your son and the defendant's son got into some sort of an altercation, and your son was assaulted.
Yes.
Miss Kennedy said she's not taking you back. You're not all going back in the same car. Make your own arrangements to get home.
Correct.
So you are suing for 2 things. For the expenses that you had to get home,
Correct.
and you are suing them also on behalf of your son for whatever injuries he sustained as a result of this altercation with the defendant's son.
Correct.
That's what the case is about. What makes you think they're responsible to provide transportation for you home after this argument that got physical with the 2 boys?
For the simple fact, when we left on this trip, it was a trip paid for there and back.
By whom?
By my brother Rick. He had sent me money for gas to get there and sent Miss Kennedy money before we left to get home on.
I paid for the trip, Your Honor, but she spent her share of the money on marijuana before she
I don't care
made
whether
her
she
trip.
spent her share on marijuana. It doesn't make any difference. He sent gas money.
No.
He sent gas money. You're not entitled to any money for your return trip. Forget that.
Okay.
Now, tell me about the fight that happened between your son and the defendant, Miss Kennedy's son.
Lila and I was arguing over the money situation, that I had paid for a haircut. She said I didn't. It was minute. The next thing I know, Lila grabbed me in a headlock. As I was in my headlock and I was looking over, I seen that in the doorway there was my brother, Rick, my son and also Nick Lyons. Well, my brother Rick had my son held by both of his arms. He was behind him and had him held by both of his arms while Nick Lyons was punching my son in the chest with his fist.
So you called the police?
Yes.
What kind of injuries did you have, young man?
Well, I got a knot on my chest. It caused a bunch of bruising, and they said that this knot will probably be here for about a year or so.
A knot?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'd like you to tell me your version of what happened that day. Why don't you tell me what happened?
All the yelling and everything was going on, and Tony, he went after my mom, and I was defending my mom, basically.
Was she holding this lady?
No,
in
that
her
didn't
hand?
happen until me and her son got into it, and I had him on the floor holding him down, and then she jumped on my back, threw me in a headlock herself, and had me to the point where I couldn't breathe, and I was turning purple in the face, and she grabbed her off of me, and that happened, and she had her back up against the wall, and me and Tony continued at it.
Did he hit you at all?
Not that I can remember.
But you hit him?
Yeah.
How many times?
Once in the face, and that was it, and I kneed him in the chest.
It was pretty
Once
much
in
a
the face.
wrestling match.
What?
It was pretty much just a wrestling match, and there was nobody holding anybody except Lila holding Cindy, because Cindy, after they ended up on a wrestling match on the floor, Cindy jumps on his back, clawing him at the face, choking him, screaming and yelling and calling him dirty names.
You mean over haircut money?
She wanted to go home. The whole arrangement was that Cindy called. I hadn't talked to her for years because she's been a parasite in the family for years. She's done this to everybody in the family. Every time she goes somewhere, she turns it into a big melee mess. So I thought, well, give her one more chance. She's your sister. You know, it's Thanksgiving. Bring her down here, see if she's changed. Well, she changed all right.
Okay. She wanted to go home.
After she started threatening Lila's life because Lila wouldn't take her home when she wanted to go because she ran out of her drugs. And she wouldn't leave it alone. Every time I would leave the room, she would go back in there. And the last time, when I finally got fed up, she told Lila, just wait till I get you home if you make it that far. So then Tony attacks Lila and starts screaming and went after Lila. I tried to
Does that
separate
sound right to you?
Actually, I was telling Lila that it was true my mom paid for the haircut that Nick had.
So you were arguing with Lila?
Yeah, and then Nick came up
Loud?
behind me. Yeah, we were arguing pretty loud.
Loud? You were yelling at her?
Yeah, she was yelling at me and yelling at my mom. at the
How
same
old are
time.
you?
16.
How old is she? Older. She's a mother. She has a child your age. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what were you doing yelling at her?
I was defending my mom.
Your mother looks like she can defend herself. Your lawsuit's dismissed. You had a fight, you had an argument, you were all involved with it. It got physical, which is outrageous for the adults to become involved with a physical argument. Now you want to be compensated for that, plus the ride home? You're dreaming. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is case number 337 on the calendar in the matter of Shin versus you. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Ms. Shin, it is your allegation that the defendants offered to watch your dog for you because the place where you were living didn't accept dogs.
Yes, correct.
And now they refuse to give her back.
Yes, correct. I've had this dog since
Just
the birth.
wait a second.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Just a sec, please. Please don't talk. I do talk. You do answer. When did you turn the dog over to the defendants?
April 22nd of this year,
And when, for the first time, did you ask for the dog back?
in the beginning of October, but we had an agreement.
Just a second. So they had the dog for a little over 6 months.
Yes,
This was a friend of yours?
yes.
How long had you been living in your apartment?
I've been living there for 8 months.
Before the dog was turned over to them?
Yes.
And the dog was living with you for 8 months?
My sister,
Don't tell me your sister. The dog was living with you for that 8-month period?
temporary.
Was living with you?
Yes. That's a lie, Your Honor.
Just a second. So why all of a sudden did you turn the dog over to the defendants?
I lived with my sister, and I moved out in December of last year. My landlord wouldn't let me keep the dog, so I had asked my sister to take care of it for me, but she was pregnant at the time, so she could not take care of the dog. So I had asked Jennifer, I have known her for over 10 years, and I had asked her if she could watch my dog until I find a new place where I could take Penny back, and she agreed.
How old is this dog?
He's now 2 years old now.
All right. So the dog lived with your sister, And then you moved into a place where you lived for 8 months. The dog did not live with you. You gave the dog to them, another 6 months. So all in total, how many months did the dog live with you?
Year and a half.
That's a lie.
That's 2 years old.
Okay, good. The math doesn't work out there, Miss Chin. How often in the 6 months that the dog was living with the defendants did you visit with the dog?
At least once every week, sometimes every day.
That's
at
a
least
lie.
Once
I don't
every
remember
week.
her
I went
coming
by.
over every day.
My sister went by
If
to
anything,
visit.
I'm not talking about your sister. I'm talking about you. How often did you go to visit with this dog during the 6-month period?
At least once a week, once every week.
to see
Oh.
me, not the dog.
So once a week. How far did you live from the defendants?
5 minutes away.
So you could have gone over every day.
Sometimes I went over every day. I went over there every chance I could.
They were friends. I mean,
We're friends. She came to see me, not the dog. I mean, yeah, when she came, she saw the dog, but she never ever called me once to say that she's going to come see Penny. It was because
Your
we
Honor,
had plans.
that's a lie.
No, we
That's
had
a lie.
plans.
Just
Your
a
Honor.
second. Just a
We
second.
had plans that maybe she came over to see me,
Just a second.
and she never
Ju-
had possession of
Did
the
you
dog.
say? Hey,
listen.
how much money did you give the defendants in the 6-month period to take care of the dog? Food, vet bills, grooming bills?
I did not give them any cash. When she first came over to
So
my
the
house,
answer is you gave them nothing.
I gave them all the supplies. Big bag of dog food, shampoo, conditioner, dog's bed, everything.
That was just leftover from
Just
when
a
she had
second.
it.
I'm talking about in the 6 months the dog was there, not when she first took the dog, which is the supplies that you had in the house. I'm talking about if she was merely babysitting for this dog for you. It would seem to me you would have an arrangement to say, look, I don't want you to spend any money on, what kind of dog is that, a Maltese?
Yes.
I don't want you to spend money on grooming, on vet bills, on food, or anything else. You're just watching this dog for me. I want to pay you.
I have the grooming bills here too.
If they do have it, I've told them I'm willing to pay for
That's
it.
not what
That's
I'm
not the
asking
point.
you. So you lived in your apartment for 8 months, and they had the dog for 6 months. Then you went and found a new place to live.
Yes,
And the new place allows dogs.
yes,
So you want the dog back.
yes.
What is your version of how the dog came into your possession?
Okay, basically, she never had possession of their dog, Penny. Her sister, took care of Penny. She was giving birth and she couldn't have a dog in the house. She asked me for a favor, if I could give Penny a new home. And I told her that I'm going to ask my brother because I live with my parents and my brother, and I know my brother loves dogs. So I never owned a dog myself, so I didn't know. So I told her that, I'll ask my brother and my family. I told her maybe a couple days or a week later that my brother was willing to take care of the dog. And there was times before they gave Penny up, they sold this dog, once before and they got it back. I mean, who gives a dog away?
When
and
did
then,
they sell the dog before?
A couple months before, they sold the dog. They took it back.
then now they gave it to us and just
And then
Under what circumstances? Do you know the story about how they
yeah,
sold
they just
the
wanted
dog?
to get rid of the dog because they knew
Your
they
Honor,
couldn't house
that's a
the dog.
lie.
Just a second.
it wasn't convenient for them.
Yeah,
and they
and they
think
have-
that they can give this dog a new home anytime that it's inconvenient for them.
Just a minute. Who did
And
they
that's
sell
not
the
fair.
dog to?
They put an ad out and they sold it to someone.
Did you put an ad in the paper for the dog?
Yes, I did.
When?
In November of last year. Because at that time, my sister was pregnant. I was living with my sister. I had no intentions of moving out. So my sister was pregnant. We could not take care of my dog. So I put out an ad in the newspaper, and someone wanted to buy it for $300. They had it for a day, and my sister kept crying. She could not sleep, eat. She had a hard time getting over it. So we called them back, and we told them that we want our dog back. Is there any possible way if we could buy the dog back? They said, well, we paid $300 for it, and we took Penny to the vet, grooming. Are you willing to pay all the fees that we pay for? So we paid them double, $600, to bring Penny back. And we
Because,
will-
just a second, because your sister couldn't sleep?
we sold Penny.
No. Because your sister couldn't sleep. That's
She
what you
couldn't
said.
sleep. She was crying. She was
But
having
then-
a hard time getting over Penny.
Fine, but then your sister said, I can't take care of Penny anymore.
Exactly.
Right?
No, we bought Penny back, so we
You
brought
bought
him
Penny back.
And then I moved out in December.
And then your sister said, I can't take care
No,
of
so
Penny
that's why
anymore.
I had it temporary. I had it in my apartment without my manager knowing, and my manager found out that I had a dog, and he told me that I cannot keep my dog in my apartment.
Shin,
That's
listen to
when I
me.
asked Jennifer.
You didn't say to me that when you sold this dog before to somebody else, you thought you made a mistake. You couldn't sleep at night. You couldn't eat. You said your sister.
Me and my sister.
No, that's not what you said.
No,
You
and
said
then
my sister. You said my sister.
I am the one who paid $600 out of my pocket to bring Penny back. I'm the one that drove over there to
If it was that hard
Torrance
for you to get over
to bring Penny back.
Don't.
And then
what?
Without telling my manager, I snuck Penny into my apartment. I kept him for a while, and then my manager found out. He told me that I need to either move out or take Penny to somewhere else. So I brought Penny back to my sister, and then that's when Jennifer offered me.
Just a second. You brought the dog back to your sister, and your sister said, I can't manage a dog because I'm pregnant now.
Penny was only there for a week.
Did you hear what I said? Your sister said to you, I can't take her now, because otherwise you would have left the dog with your sister, right? Right? I mean, if you moved into a place where you couldn't keep the dog, and your sister, who couldn't sleep at night 2 months before, she would have said, fine, I'll keep Penny until you find another place to stay. But your sister said, I can't keep her.
She was pregnant. That's why I kept it in my apartment without my
So
manager's
she got over
approval.
being hysterical.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sharon Shin says former friend Jennifer Yu and her brother Jay Yu refused to return her Maltese named Penny. Jennifer and Jay say Sharon abandoned the dog.
My next question to you, Miss Shin, is if you had the kind of love and affection that you seem to want me to believe that you had for this dog, why didn't you find an apartment in a month?
I tried to. I found
2
the
months.
place that I
3
moved-
months. 4 months.
The place that
6 months later?
Yes, but I trusted these people. They had agreed that they'll watch Penny for me until
Miss
I
Shin,
could
that's
find
not
a
what
place.
that's not what I'm saying to you. We're not talking about a cup or a desk or a pair of glasses. We're talking about an animal that has a feeling. You want to know how I know? Just stand there for a minute and I'm going to show you.
아니 그게 좋아하면 왜 저희 팔았었냐고 그러는 거예요. 저는 팔았다가 왜 그건 지금 네가 그렇게 말하면 그거.
This one's mine. This one's mine. Lily, come sit here with me. This one's mine. When I went to find a new apartment and the landlord said, you can't have a dog, I don't care if they were offering me a palace. It's not worth it. Because if a dog is part of your life, is part of your soul, you don't move into a place where you can't have a dog. And you don't give up a dog for 6 months and let it bond with another family and then say, I want it back. You don't do that.
Thank you.
You don't do that. That's outrageous.
Yes, but
Go buy another dog.
that's what they told me, Your Honor.
That's
I've
exactly what I'm telling you. Go buy another dog.
Your Honor, I've had this dog since the birth.
You've never had this dog.
Just a minute. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. You didn't. The dog lived with your sister.
I
Then the
lived
dog
with my
lived with
sister.
them.
I lived with my sister for a
Shh,
year
listen
after
to
he
me.
gave birth.
You lived with your sister. Then your sister had the dog. Then you moved into an apartment for 8 months. Then they have the dog for 6 months.
7 months.
7 months. Now you want the dog back? You're not bonded with this dog. Because if you were bonded, you would not have moved to an apartment where you couldn't have dogs. That's the first question you ask. You say, I have a pet. So if you move into a place that says no pets, you say no pets, no me. And
Your
you go
Honor?
someplace else. But you don't let your dog bond with another family and then say, I want it back. This is not an animal that you've had for 10 years. You had this animal, all told, maybe for a year. But not the last year. The last year, they've given this dog a home and affection and attention. So if you want another Maltese, go buy one.
Your Honor, this dog belongs to me.
Not anymore. Your case is dismissed.
Your Honor,
Goodbye.
please. I have the evidence here.
You may step out.
This isn't fair. They agreed that they'll watch the dog for me until I find a place. It's a temporary agreement, and now they're saying they're denying the whole fact that they. I trusted these people.
She's just inconsiderate and she's very selfish, obviously, because she just thinks that this is Penny's an object, and it's not. She can't give it away anytime she feels like it's inconvenient to her and take it back whenever.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of DeRosa versus Lane, step forward, please.
28-year-old Janine Thomas is suing her ex-boyfriend, 27-year-old military reservist Arthur Kelly, for damages from an assault and for wrecking her car.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 511 on the calendar in the matter of Thomas versus Kelly. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. Thomas, your lawsuit contains two parts. First, the defendant, who was your ex-boyfriend, you claim assaulted you in July of last year. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you want several $1,000s as a result of that assault. Then you claim that a month later you let him borrow your car and he totaled it and it's impounded or something, and you can't get a driver's license until you pay the impound fees and towing fees. So you want him to take care of those fees as a result of totaling your car.
That's correct.
So let's deal with the assault first.
Okay.
Were you living together at the time of this assault?
We were.
And how long had you been living together?
About 1.5 to 2 years.
And tell me your version of the events surrounding the assault.
Well, we moved out here. We got here in April from Delaware, and we hadn't been getting along like you should be getting along in a relationship. So things were difficult. And on July 21st, we had a really big argument. There was a party happening that weekend, and we were all going to go. And I stood in the doorway as he was trying to leave. And
You were arguing at the time?
Yeah, we were arguing.
Verbally?
Verbally arguing, yelling, slamming doors. I slammed a door.
So he said, I want out of here, and started to leave?
No, he didn't start to leave. We were downstairs and we were talking about it because at first...
Okay, but you said you stood in the doorway, so he wanted to leave.
At that time, and I didn't let him leave by standing in the doorway.
Why were you preventing him from leaving if things were getting too hot?
Because I didn't want to be fighting with him, and I wanted to talk about why we were fighting. It was all little things. I don't even know why we were fighting at the time.
All right, so you're blocking the door.
Right.
And what happened?
He picked me up and threw me, and then he kicked and punched me.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Just a second.
He
picked you up and threw you where?
Well, I was standing in the doorway. He was standing in front of me to leave. So he picked me up and threw me behind where there was a roll of carpet laying because the basement was being remodeled.
Okay.
And I landed on my would have been right side from standing here to being behind to laying on this side.
Okay, so you landed on your right side.
Right. And so I had bruises here and here on my thigh.
Yes.
He kicked and punched me about 3 times per
Where did he
limb.
punch you?
In my, what's this, my forearm?
The same place that you fell?
Right. I was on the floor and he came and he kicked and he punched me.
Did you seek medical treatment?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to see the report.
This is a letter from my psychologist.
I'm not interested in the letter from your psychologist. If you sought medical treatment as a result of your injuries, you have a report from either an emergency room or
I didn't
from a
go
doctor.
to the emergency room. I called 911.
Do you have a police report?
They did not give me a police report. And this is what I have that I called 911. He was on probation
because
from
he
Delaware.
didn't.
And I have a picture of my leg that is bruised from him kicking and punching me that he didn't do. I also have a protection order that I filed as a result of this.
Ms. Thomas, I want to ask you a question, madam. He's trying to get out of the situation. I see a mark on your leg.
That's a bruise from a kick.
Maybe. He said you tripped over carpet, but there's no question that he was trying to get out of that situation. Let's go further for a second, Ms. Thomas. After this alleged brutality, you continued to live together.
If I can explain.
Just answer my question.
Yes, we continued to
live together. On what date did you lend him your car?
I lent him my car September 15th.
Okay, so you lived together for at least 2 months after this incident occurred.
I didn't want anything to do with him, and he begged. He said we could go to therapy together and get help for this problem that he had, and that we could work it out because he wanted to spend eternity with me.
Okay, Ms. Thomas,
and so,
listen to me. You claim that he assaulted you, brutalized you. You did not report the fact that he brutalized you to the police.
No, because he was on probation. I didn't want him to get in trouble. I just wanted him out of my life. In fact, the day after
all he was trying to do was leave the house.
I packed all of his things for him, even.
Just a second. He wanted to leave. You were arguing. He wanted to leave. By the way, did you go to that party that weekend?
Me? No, he did. And when he got back, all of his clothes were packed and tarped on the porch so he could get out of my life.
Fine. So that was the 3rd week in July.
July 22nd, when he came home.
Okay, so all of his stuff was packed?
Yes.
Did you leave?
No, ma'am, I did not leave.
All right. Now, you want to tell me your version of the events of the 21st of July?
It started off in the morning. I knew that there was a party, and Janine and I had been getting along like sort of like an ocean, up and down. And The morning was pretty nice, and I asked her if she wanted to go to this party with me. And then I don't know what happened throughout the day. We got to arguing. The arguing just got worse and worse and worse. It just got to the point where I didn't want to be there anymore. You know, the situation wasn't what it should have been. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to leave. I need to go. She stood in the doorway, wouldn't allow me
What did she
to
say
leave.
when she stood in the doorway?
She's like, no, you're going to stay here and we're going to talk about this. We're going to make something right. And we'd been arguing for at least an hour. And it didn't seem to me like that we were getting anywhere. We were just butting heads. So I walked toward her, and she had her hands on the door frame. And I sort of pushed through her. There was a roll of carpeting because the basement was being remodeled, and it stuck about this far out into the doorway. And when I pushed through the doorway, Miss Thomas started to fall
When you pushed through
back.
the doorway and you pushed her,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
had to have pushed her,
Yes,
even
ma'am.
according to you. You didn't push doorway. She was standing in front of the doorway, so you pushed her, and she tripped over the carpet?
She tripped over the carpet, yes. As she
Did
tripped
you-
over the carpet, she grabbed my shoulders and pulled me on top of her.
Okay, and what did you do next?
I struggled to get up, ma'am. And then when Lorraine's boyfriend, Dennis, came to the top of the stairs, he screamed down the stairs, "You two better quit." Janine let go of me, and I was able to leave the basement.
And you left?
And I left.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janine Thomas says, during an argument, ex-boyfriend Arthur Kelly kicked and punched her. Arthur says Janine wouldn't let him leave their home, so he pushed her out of the way.
Oh, you packed the stuff, put it under a tarp, July 22nd, but he did not leave.
No, he wanted to work it out.
So he stayed at least until September 15th.
Actually, it was about August 1st. I picked him up from a ferry after I got off work. And I was feeling really low because we only get about 5 days of summer in Seattle. And it was a real sunny day, and I wanted to wear a nice spring outfit to work. And I put it on, and when I put it on, I had my bruises hanging out of my clothes. And to go to work like that, somebody would have been like, "What happened to you?" And I didn't want to have to explain to people at work my problems at home. So I had to change clothes. So that was on my mind all day. And when I picked him up from the ferry, he asked me what was wrong, and I said, "You really don't want to know what's wrong because you think I'm full of negativity." And he's like, he pulled it out of me. I said, "Art," I said, "these bruises are on my body still from when you kicked and punched me. And I couldn't wear certain clothes today because of these bruises. I'd have to explain them." And he said, "I'm finished with you. I'm moving out. I'm done. I've had it with this ridiculousness." And so that's when he moved out, 2 weeks after the assault.
So how did he get possession of your truck?
Because he was in the Air National Guard, and he gave me the, "Why, let's try to be friends." We didn't work out as boyfriend and girlfriend. I was in therapy, and he also was in going to be in anger management therapy from his probation in Delaware. So let's be friends and try to get over this. So I agreed, and we tried to be friends. He would come over to the house, and then he had guard duty on the 15th and 16th of September, and he had no vehicle to get there. And I'm a nice person, and he asked me if he could borrow my car. And I said yes. I said, "But if anything happens to my car, I'm working 2 jobs to get caught up from our move. You have to fix it if anything happens." And he said, "Okay."
Okay, so what happened to the car, Mr. Kelly?
I stayed the night at the house that night and got up in the morning. Went to the gas station and filled the gas tank with fuel, and I proceeded to head toward work. And I was going down a hill and noticed a red light. And the last thing I remember was hitting the brake, and then I woke up in the guardrail.
What time was this in the morning?
This was 6:15 a.m.
So what did you do with the car?
A tow truck came, and the tow truck towed it off to a storage yard.
So what is your out-of-pocket expense?
Well, they're billing me right now, the last bill from November with the 12% interest was $1,647.34.
Why didn't you take care of the car right away, Mr. Kelly?
Why didn't I take care of the car, ma'am?
That was my question, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah,
You were
yes, ma'am.
driving the car.
I understand that. Well, the car almost killed me. I didn't feel that it was, my responsibility.
How do I know that?
Well, I have a report from the hospital at the Army Medical Center, and it states that asphyxiation was the cause of
Let me see.
this, and
How much did you pay for this car, Miss Thomas?
$500. When I told him, I said, you know, after he totaled it, I picked him up. I told him he was glad he was okay. And I said, but the only thing I ask of you is that you replace it with a comparable car. I don't care what kind of car it is, as long as it's run and it's registered.
Sir, let me tell you what happened. You reported to the doctor, patient, that's you, having just filled up the gas tank, known exhaust leak into car. Does that mean that you knew that there was an exhaust leak?
Yes, ma'am, I knew that.
Oh, so if you knew that you were taking a car that had an exhaust leak, who do you expect to be responsible for that?
I didn't know that it was going to knock me out. Behind
How do I know that? How did she know that?
I drove it for
Just a
2
second, how did she know that? Mr. Kelly,
Yes, ma'am.
you told the doctor that you know that this car that you just filled up with gas has an exhaust leak, and you smelled a strong odor of gasoline.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you took the car as you knew it to exist. It existed as far as you were concerned, and it had an exhaust leak. And if it almost killed you, so you die, you die. You didn't die. You just damaged her car, and you have to pay for it. It's not as if she kept something a secret.
He helped me buy the car.
I don't care whether he helped you buy
I
it or not,
suggest
Miss Thomas.
she shouldn't buy the car.
She shouldn't have bought it,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't have borrowed it. But if you borrowed it and you wrecked it, you got to pay for it. Another thing, Mr. Kelly, what kind of anger management classes were you going to as a result of probation that you were on previously?
I went to a 10-week session with a counselor on Vashon Island.
And that was a result of a prior incident? In
Yes,
what
ma'am.
state?
In Delaware.
And who was involved in that incident?
That would have been a boss that I worked for. Her and her husband were in the midst of a
That was
divorce.
a boss. It was not the plaintiff.
No, it was not the plaintiff.
And what were you charged with there?
I was charged with disorderly conduct.
You pled guilty to disorderly conduct.
Yes, ma'am.
You weren't charged with
Okay.
disorderly conduct. Mr. Kelly, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, sir. You pled guilty to disorderly conduct. You were charged with...
I was charged with nothing. I had probation.
No. Mr. Kelly, you're not a dumb man,
Oh,
are you?
my charges, okay. Initially, it was possession of paraphernalia and disorderly conduct, ma'am.
No assault?
No assault.
What kind of paraphernalia, sir?
A pipe that I'd used for tobacco that
Pipe
was
that you
given
used
to
for
me.
tobacco.
That was given to me by the woman that.
I don't care, sir. And I don't believe that you were charged with a discon. I believe that you probably pled guilty to a disorderly conduct, but I don't believe that was the charge, Mr. Kelly. You want to think about it again, sir? What were you charged with regard to this boss?
I don't understand your question, ma'am.
The question was, what were you charged with?
My charges, ma'am, were disorderly conduct and possession of paraphernalia.
Tell me about the incident, Mr. Kelly.
The incident was the police had been at the frame shop where I worked, and the bosses were having this not-so-nice divorce. One boss, she was in the frame shop the day I was working, and the police had already been there, and they explained to her not to take anything that wasn't solely hers. And she was taking stuff, and I explained to her that she shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
And
Go
we had
ahead.
an argument,
And you had an argument, just a verbal argument.
a verbal argument.
You had a verbal argument, and as a result of that verbal argument, you had to go to anger management classes.
Yes, ma'am.
I better stay out of Delaware. All right, Mr. Kelly, I'm not holding you responsible for this incident that occurred on the 21st of July for several reasons. First of all, I do believe that you were trying to extricate yourself from a potentially volatile argument. The fact that Ms. Thomas exercised poor judgment in keeping you hostage there, which is exactly what she did. She prevented you from leaving, and if she got pushed aside and fell over carpet, that's what happened. I'm not convinced that you actually bludgeoned her with your fists, because I'm looking at one photograph that she gave me, and there is a bruise on her upper thigh, which is also consistent with falling over something, which you both agree she did. In any event, subsequent to that, you still maintained a relationship. So, but for the fact of this automobile that you totaled, she would not be here today. But I am addressing the accident that you had, that you are totally responsible for. You took the vehicle, fully understanding that it may have a malfunctioning condition that was dangerous. According to you, it did. I don't know if that was the cause of the accident. At least that's what you reported to the medical people when you were brought into the hospital. You chose to exercise control over the vehicle under those circumstances, and you should have taken care of the car. You didn't. It's going to cost you $2,147, which is the cost of the towing plus interest, as well as the cost of the car. Judgment for the plaintiff in that amount. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He picked me up, threw me behind, and then had to walk to me to do what he did.
Never before has a car rendered me unconscious.
I was asking her, do I tell him what he did? Because he's on probation. What do I do? You're his friend. What do I do?
She's just aggravated my life.
If somebody ever hits me again, oh yeah, 911 will know about it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of St. Aubin versus Williams. Step forward, please.
49-year-old administrative assistant Donna St. Aubin is suing 27-year-old billing clerk Artia Williams. Donna says Artia's 9-year-old son punched her granddaughter in the mouth, knocking a tooth loose.
Miss St. Aubin, this is your granddaughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Your name is Ariel? Step up here, Ariel. And Miss Williams, this is your son.
Yes, ma'am.
Your name is?
Shantae.
Shantae, you step up here with your mom. All right. Ariel, you and Shantae were at daycare together. Is that right?
ma'am.
And you were sort of messing around with each other.
Yes, ma'am.
How were you messing around with each other?
We were throwing erasers.
At each other?
Mm-hmm.
And based upon what I read here, one of the workers came over and told you to stop. And then you threw one last eraser at Ashante?
Yes, ma'am.
After the worker had told you to stop.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you threw that last eraser at him, it hit him where?
On the head.
And then he came over to you and he...
Hit her.
You hit her. Where did you hit her?
In her mouth.
And as a result of that, a baby tooth became loose, and you are suing Miss Williams because of her son hitting your granddaughter for $4,500.
Oh, it started with both the daycare and the mother.
Well, you're not going to get a penny from Miss Williams. This is going to be a very fast case. Okay. Your granddaughter hit him in the head with an eraser after she was told to stop. So she assaulted him with an eraser. And he retaliated by hitting her in the mouth. Why is that a lawsuit? Because she got hurt and he didn't?
No.
Well, why?
Because the daycare worker told me that he started it, and then she threw it back, and then he come back. When she threw it back, he come back with the fist.
No. Your granddaughter just told me that they were messing around with each other, throwing erasers. The daycare worker told him to stop. He stopped. She didn't.
Right.
She hit him in the head. He hit her in the mouth. Case is over. Your case is dismissed. Goodbye.
Now, this is case number 437 on the calendar in the matter of Yukevich versus Seiss. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Ms. Yukevich, you were a waitress in a restaurant.
Correct.
The defendant was there with a group of family members, a large group of family members.
Correct.
And it is your claim that while there, she assaulted you.
Yes.
And you want to be compensated not only for the assault, but for your lost wages and your pain and suffering.
Yes.
The defendant says she never hit you. Were you the person who was serving the defendant's group?
No.
Tell me what happened.
Well, that party had been sitting there for a while, and they were drinking a lot. And I was in the section next to this large party, and I had a couple of tables there. And throughout the night, they were having problems, my tables with the large party, because the large party was kind of getting out of control, standing up, backing into my tables. And I believe that woman right over there was smoking in the non-smoking section, and a table had asked me, to tell the woman to stop because it was bothering them, and they were in the non-smoking
She was
section.
just standing in the...
Just standing in the non-smoking, smoking. So I walked up to her and I proceeded to tell her, ma'am, you can't smoke here, this is non-smoking. She then proceeded to get very defensive with me. And
what did she say?
She said, we're leaving. You can't tell me when to leave and what to do. I can stay here as long as I want and do whatever I want. And I said, you can, ma'am, but you can't smoke here. And she proceeded to say the same thing, call me some names like, you white, gringa, weta. And I said, you know what, if you want to be a grumpy old woman, be a grumpy old woman, but do it somewhere else. And I walked away because I knew the situation was going to get out of control. So I went to go tell my manager what had happened. And as I was walking around, she came running up to me excuse me, you white bitch, you white bitch. That's her. Grabbed me, slammed me up against the wall like this, started punching me, kicking me, scratching at my face or something, and slamming me up against the wall. And I'm freaked out because I've never seen this woman before in my life. Luckily, then one of my coworkers jumped in between, and she's reaching around him, you know, punching like this, kicking, and that's when I looked down the way at my section, and there was a full-out brawl. That large party of hers, they had tables thrown over, broken bottles. One of my customers was on the ground, and they were kicking him. He was bloody from head to toe. At that point, I don't know where she went, but I ended up just running because I didn't know what to do. It was like a flight, something. I took off to run outside because I was like, I'm getting the hell out of this situation. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
What kind of injuries did you sustain?
I have some pictures here.
I'd like to see
and
them.
I have a medical bill. They're not very good pictures. She did throw me up against the wall, so a lot of it was to the back of my head. This is the medical bill here. The restaurant did pay for the medical bill, but that's just the... on there, you can see some of the scratches on my face.
Were you taken to the emergency room then?
The EMS checked me out, and then they told me to go to the hospital afterwards. So I went, right after I got off work, I went to the emergency room.
Did you miss any work?
Yes, I did. I have this that shows what I missed several days. I also have a police report and an incident report
I'd
from
like
my
to see
managers. This is police report, and this is incident report from the managers. There's also a statement from Margaret on that day in there too, that it was an incident report, I guess. I did highlight a statement.
Okay, Ms. Saez, now I'm ready to hear from you. You were having dinner with your family. Go ahead.
Yes, but I believe we were there a different day because what she's saying is not at all the incident I was involved in. We were a party of 23, 5 generations. The incident, the way it started was I was walking Grandma out. She was walking out ahead of me. My witness was walking out ahead of me. And I sent Grandma off with someone else because I saw that they were having words with each other. The part where I walked in is where Hazel says, I didn't know we had a time limit, is what she told her at that time.
Who's Hazel?
This is my witness. Hazel's my niece.
I didn't know we had a time limit.
Right. So anyway, if you want, Hazel can tell you how the incident started with her, and she can tell you what went on.
So that's what you heard. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I heard them say, she says, you Mexicans never know when to leave.
I work in a Mexican restaurant.
Just a second. So that's, okay, all right, just a second. So that's what you say you heard her say to your niece?
Yes. You Mexicans never know when to leave. Hazel says, I didn't know we had a time limit. And she says, yes, that's why nobody wants you people around.
I know.
She told her. And then she proceeded to light a cigarette because she had been on her way out. And she tells her, you can't smoke here. It's a non-smoking area. And then she says, and besides, you're just jealous of my white skin and my blonde hair. Then turned around and walked out.
Go ahead.
So, you know, like, blood started boiling, but my daughter grabbed me at this time because there were some friends, other friends of ours there that we hadn't seen in a while. So then afterwards I went looking for her. I felt she was being very rude. I approached her. I was on my way to approach her to discuss the situation. I put my finger up at her to, you know, to make the point. The 2 busboys jumped me at that time, grabbed me, and I do have some injuries and some, I'm disabled. I am on disability. I have metal fusions on my neck, arthritis spondylosis.
You never brought this up.
I've since then been, I've had 6 surgeries and been diagnosed with fibromyalgia and all this stuff. Anyway, so I can't move. I can't do that kind of stuff. I approached her. The bus boys jumped me before I even said a word. And they started, and they pulled my arms back, which causes a great deal of pain for me. So I started yelling and screaming, let me go, let me go. So my son saw this, and he came over. He says, I'll take her out. Don't worry about her. So he got me by the arm, and we went out.
How do you think she got the scratches on her face, Miss Saez?
I have no idea. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to see the pictures because APD and the fire department were there. They checked her. And, you know, according to the police report, it says that they just let her go. It says battery, but they didn't arrest me. Had they found any marks on her or anything, and it's an assault, they would have arrested me.
They said they couldn't arrest her, that I would have to press charges. They didn't even arrest the people that assaulted my customer, and he was bleeding from head to toe.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Waitress Michelle Yukevich says she was assaulted on the job by customer Margaret Seiss. Margaret says Michelle insulted her with a racial slur.
So my question to you is, why didn't you press charges on her? Is there any reason?
Oh, it took me 45 days to get the police report, like seriously. And then I was waiting to go down and press charges. I know it's been a little while, but I mean, it's been in the back of my head.
It's not going to happen. Okay.
Had I hit her?
Ms. Saez, I believe you made contact with the plaintiff. Let me tell you that.
No, I didn't.
Let me tell you why I believe you made contact with all of your disabilities. Because when someone is assaulted, they want the person responsible to compensate them or be punished. If she were assaulted by somebody else, you wouldn't be here. She said that you assaulted her. According to your own statement, you were hot, you got furious, according to you, when you heard her make comments to your niece, and you were hot then. Then you went back to find her. And you didn't go back to find her just to have a discussion, because by that time, things were starting to get rowdy between the tables on your side and the tables on the other side, because this looks to me as if it turned into a free-for-all. So you had not only the opportunity, but you had the mental capacity at that moment to strike out at her.
Your Honor, I wear these rings all the time, plus other ones. I just toned it down a little bit. These would have left some big bruises had I punched her.
Look at
the way the tables are set in the restaurant, there is no way that you can get her against the wall. And on her police report, she says on here that I was smoking, that I was seated in a non-smoking area, which I wasn't.
Police got confused, but the whole story, the story that I get in the complaint...
No, but she says that she came back.
Listen
and
to me,
she
the stories
didn't talk
that
to me.
The stories
she talked
that,
to her.
The stories that you both told today are totally consistent. Now, the police, in the course of taking down a report, may not get everything right, but the stories that you both told me today were consistent with regard to what happened with your niece, that she told her not to smoke, whatever words were exchanged. And I'm not sure that I'm getting the whole story about the words that were exchanged, because it seemed to me absolutely ludicrous for the plaintiff.
What she said is an absolute lie, Your Honor. All I have to back me up is the truth. Yeah. And when he swore me in, I swore to do that. I would never was the word gringa used, anything like that. Nothing like that was ever said. I don't know where she got this from.
Just a minute. But according to you, the word was said.
Oh, it was.
Just a minute. According to you, the word bitch was said by your niece.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, I believe that. What I'm telling you, Ms. Saez, is that what the police took down quickly in their notes did not reflect what happened on that day, which was basically she told her not to smoke. They get into some words. You're overhearing words that they're getting into, and you decided to have a confrontation with her, which you did. You not only decided to have a confrontation with her at that moment that you heard it, but you got rid of your mother or your aunt or whoever else it was, and you went back to find her. Again, you went back to confront her. Because according to you, Ms. Saez, you were boiling at what you heard her say. And then you went to find her. That's what you said. You said, I went to find her.
Because she was making such horrible racist remarks. And unless someone is there to receive those names, if you're not there at the other end, will never know how you feel. You feel humiliated, degraded. She made me feel like an alien.
Oh,
and I don't mean like an alien from across the border. I'm talking about from Mars or something. Never did that.
You are a grown-up, madam. Grown-ups know that words...
I understand that.
Words are different from acting physically.
When someone is being a racist,
yes,
it is going to cause problems. No one likes to be labeled with names.
So what kind of problems is it going to cause? What
Calling
kind of,
it
hey,
a
Miss
stupid
Saez, you see what you're doing?
Mexicans. Exactly. This is what she was doing.
No,
This is what you're doing. And this is why I got angry. And unless you're on that receiving end,
You got
no
angry
one
and you
will
hit
ever,
her. It's
no
going to
one
cost
will
you $2,500.
receive that.
Period. End of discussion. Sticks and stones break my bones. Names will never hurt me. You report it to the manager. You never go back to the restaurant, but you don't go over there and assault her. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. That's all.
Thank you very
Parties
much.
are excused. You may step out.
None of that ever happened. Absolutely none of it happened.
Margaret, you know, proved my case just by her actions.
Knock the out of the person, if you can.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dagrapont versus Sierra. Step forward, please.
67-year-old Paul Dagrapont is suing 28-year-old car salesperson Vanessa Sierra for the cost of a new puppy. Paul says when his granddaughter's Maltese was in Vanessa's care, the dog ran away and was hit by a car.
Your granddaughter, I assume this is your granddaughter, had a little Maltese dog, and she wanted to breed and have a litter of puppies from her dog. You got the defendant's name. The defendant had a male Maltese. You brought your granddaughter's dog to the defendant's home for the purposes of having this liaison.
Correct.
And left her there,
Yes.
which was standard procedure, I assume. Is that right?
I've never bred a dog before, so I don't know what standard procedure is.
I haven't either.
Well, hopefully the dogs know better than you do what's going on. In any event, having done that sort of thing a couple of times myself, that's what usually happens. You bring the dog and they try to get acquainted so that there is a little, for want of a better, there's a little foreplay. You know, they sort of get to know each other and like each other and stuff. But while the dog was in your care, the dog ran away. You want to be compensated for the dog because you believe it was the defendant's responsibility. Why do you think this was not your responsibility?
It's not that it's not my responsibility. I'm really sorry for what happened.
Of course you are.
It was just a strange situation. No agreement was ever, like handwritten agreement was ever made. I mean, if I was a mean person or a bad person, I could have just simply denied having the dog. There was no proof or evidence that the dog was ever at my house.
I don't understand that. If you were a bad or a mean person. He brought the dog to your house. Your agreement was that you were going to be paid for the breeding?
Correct.
Okay. How much were you supposed to be paid?
We never agreed upon a price.
We're going to discuss the fee later. Is that all correct, Mr. Davenport?
Yes.
So I still don't understand why you don't think you're responsible. The dogs were playing in the backyard and his dog got away.
Right. The dog was brought to me on the day before New Year's Eve. I called him that evening to let him know that the dogs hadn't, as you called it, gotten acquainted or had their liaison, so to speak. They weren't actually getting along. My dog was chasing his dog around the house, and she didn't seem at all interested. He told me to go ahead and keep the dog overnight, which I did. I did inform him that I do work. I work the next day 9 to 9, and I would not be home. He asked me if anybody would be home. I told him my brothers and my father would.
Okay. So he did ask who would be around.
My brother put both dogs in the yard, and I do have pictures of my dog and the yard, which is completely enclosed. My brother went back to check on the dogs. He let them do their business because he didn't, this is very important, he didn't give me a leash. When he dropped off the dog, he didn't even come in the house. He just handed me the dog. I couldn't put the dog in the front yard to, you know, do its bathroom business. So we put him in the backyard, my brother did, and when he went back, within half an hour, the dog was gone. They went out, we spent the entire New Year's Eve.
Did you find out how the dog got away?
No, that's the thing. I have pictures. My dog was still in the yard. My dog didn't get out. We don't know how the dog got out.
Maybe somebody stole her. Yeah. Somehow the dog got away.
Right. And I'm not disputing that fact.
So you have to pay for the dog.
Well, I mean, the dog should have been picked up earlier in the day. I wasn't home. I mean, I'm really sorry for what happened, and then...
Miss Sierra, dog was entrusted to your care in a business relationship. You were going to be paid for the purposes of breeding the dog. If the dog was left in your care, was not returned, you have to pay for the dog. Simple. Did you replace the puppy for your granddaughter?
Yes, we did.
You did. And do you have the bill for the replacement puppy?
We have pictures of the puppy. This is the new puppy. And these.
Forky, how's the new puppy?
Playful.
Looks adorable. Step up near your granddaddy. A girl or a boy?
A girl.
What did you name her?
Minnie.
How old is she now?
I think 10 or 11 weeks.
You taking good care of her?
Yeah.
Good. How much did you pay for Minnie?
$700.
You have the bill?
I don't have the bill on the new dog. I have a canceled check on the old one, and this is the posters that we put up looking for when Rice was missing. And we have bills from the veterinarian that they require baby shots, so to speak.
Okay, let me see the bill for the Maltese, please, and the vet shots.
We put 150 of these posters out in the neighborhood looking for her. When we finally found her, you know, she was dead.
She had been hit by a car?
By a car.
I assume that somehow she got out because if somebody had stolen her.
I don't, like I said, I have pictures of the yard completely enclosed.
Well, maybe your brother accidentally opened up the front door. I don't know. Dorothy, cost of the dog was $625, and all the vet bills with the cost of the dog come to $1,011. Judgment for the plaintiff. I'm glad you got a new puppy.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is case number 572 and 560. One is Irwin versus Cuddy Large, and the other one is a cross complaint, Cuddy versus Irwin. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Irwin, I'm going to address your claim first, and then I will address the claim by one of the defendants, Mr. Cuddy. According to your complaint, you hired these two young men to do some work in your house while you were gone on some sort of vacation or business trip. And they were given a whole list of things to do. They had access to your home. And it is your claim that they threw a major party while they were there, and that as a result of that, your home was invaded, a large group of people, that some things were destroyed or damaged, and a substantial amount of money stolen. And you're suing both of these young men for $5,000.
Correct.
The defendant said it was no big deal party, just a few friends, nobody went into the house. And Mr. Cuddy has a cross complaint, which I will get to in a moment. Who's Mr. Cuddy?
Would be me.
That's you. All right, how did you know these two young men?
Rick Large had worked for us, done some work for our business for about a year.
What kind of business?
A computer business. And Mr. Cuddy, my husband had known him for probably about 12 years, and I'd known him about 6 years. And he was also a neighbor of ours.
And you gave both these young men access to your home?
Actually, Rick Large was the one that was hired to come in and feed the dogs, check emails, pick up mail, pick up the newspaper, and do a few chores around the house. And we paid him $300 for the week to do that.
You only paid Mr. Large?
Correct.
Okay, were they supposed to stay in the house?
No.
Okay, and what did you find when you came home?
When we first they came to pick us up at the airport, and they were supposed to come in our truck, but they came in Mr. Cuddy's mother's truck because they said they couldn't find the keys to the vehicle, which also has our home key on it and speed pass. When we got home, we gave them T-shirts we'd bought for them, and they left, and we were home for a few minutes, and our doorbell rang, and our neighbor came over and was very upset and said that while we were
Can't tell
gone,
me what your neighbor said.
Oh, okay. Well, we started looking around and noticed things that were moved, found a disc jockey card on my table in my family room, found broken beer bottle and beer still on the floor in the family room.
A broken beer bottle?
Mm-hmm. We went to open our garbage compactor, and it was jammed. When we finally were able to pry it open, there was the remains of grapefruit rinds, a big vodka bottle that had been jammed in there. When we went upstairs that night to go to bed, we could tell that our guest room and our room both had been remade. The bedding had been remade. And my husband went over to his side of the bed and saw on the floor a grungy-looking T-shirt wrapped around a rag that was left there. At that point, we did call the guys to come back after we found out about the party and confronted them that night. Their response was, it was no big deal. We had a few friends over. What's the problem? The next day, we found the money was missing. We found...
What money?
In the drawer in my desk upstairs. We keep money in a... bank bag. But as we started going through the house, like I said, we started finding more and more things that had been destroyed. On the nightstand in our bedroom, there's a watermark, which I do have a picture of that.
Tell me about this party, gentlemen. Now look.
Well, Your Honor...
I want you to look at me,
no,
and I want you to make sure of one thing.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
I want you to tell me about the party. Everything about the party.
Okay.
I want you to just realize it. The truth will set you free. Don't try to scam me with you had a couple of friends over for a little barbecue in the backyard. I want to know how many people were there, inside or outside. How many invited? How many uninvited? How many just showed up?
How many people showed up? Approximately on Friday night, we had about 40 people show up.
Oh, okay, so you had about 40. And how many people had you in? Because I read your papers, so, but you know, I've had teenagers, so I know.
I understand.
Okay, good. So you had about 40.
Your Honor?
Could there have been 50?
It's a possibility, yes, but
Oh,
it's not
so
likely.
there could have been 50. How many did you invite?
I personally didn't invite anybody to the party.
Who did?
That would have been Rick.
How many did you invite to the party?
3 or 4 people.
Shh. So you invited 3 or 4 and 40 or 50 or so showed up. Did you call the police?
No,
Why not?
because everybody was having a good time. We were very responsible, kept the house locked at all times. Everybody was strictly in the backyard only,
Well,
and I didn't want to ruin a good time.
well,
Judge,
Mr.
the police were called.
Just a second. Mr. Large, you know that your conduct was unacceptable. You had a party, you had alcohol at the party? Speak.
Yes.
Who purchased the alcohol?
I purchased some of the alcohol.
All right. How much beer did you purchase, sir?
I didn't purchase beer. I purchased a bottle of gin,
Yes.
and that was it.
You mean that 40 or 50 people survived for an evening of revelry on one bottle of gin?
No, actually, people brought their own alcohol.
Really? So they were smart enough to come and bring their own stuff. Now, so you want to tell me how many hours this party lasted?
I don't know, about 8.
All right. So are you telling me, sir, that in an 8-hour party where everybody was drinking, nobody had to use a bathroom?
No, actually, they did, and I instructed them they weren't to go in the house. Under
So where
any
did they use a bathroom? Where did they go potty?
I told them that they needed to go to a McDonald's down the street or somewhere down the street.
Sure.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Diana and Stephen Irwin claim former friends T.J. Cuddy and Rick Large were hired to look after their home. The Irwins say the boys threw a wild party and trashed their house.
So who slept in the beds?
Nobody slept in. I slept in a guest room, on the guest room bed.
Well, is that part of your agreement?
Well,
That you were supposed to stay in the house?
they let me, I actually live with the Irwins. They told me they treated me like a son. They had welcomed me everywhere. You know, they said, you're
Was
welcome.
it your arrangement on this weekend that you were to stay in the house?
No.
Miss Irwin?
Yes.
Let me make myself clear. We are not going to entertain your missed money.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because it doesn't sound logical to me that somebody goes away and leaves 2 young men with access to their home and leaves what you claim was $8,000 in cash in your top desk drawer. Doesn't sound kosher to me. So I'm going to entertain your claim of whatever damage was done in your house, because I believe that both of these young men are absolutely responsible for that. Because if they invited 3 or 4 people and 50 people showed up, the first thing that you do if you are responsible is you get on the phone, you call the police, and you say there are people trespassing on this property and I want them removed. They chose not to do that because, according to Mr. Lodge, they were all having a good time in this party that lasted 8 hours. To me, a party lasts 4 hours and then your company goes home and that's it. So, tell me exactly what was damaged, how much it's going to cost to fix it, because that they are responsible for.
Well, we did also, I did want to say that the police were called 2 nights.
It was a long party. It's a long party.
Well, and the
you
one...
know that you don't leave teenage boys in your house, 19, 20, 21 years old, in your house and say, the house is now empty. Because you know what happens? The word gets out into the street. Party! And everybody comes.
They did note that they had planned the party well before we were out of town even.
Right. And how did they do that? Did they do that by hiring, according to what I read in your complaint, a disc jockey?
Yes.
Was that disc jockey hired 3 weeks in advance?
No, ma'am.
When?
We called the disc jockey 2 hours before a party.
2 hours before the 3 or 4 people that you had invited arrived?
He was one of those.
Huh?
He was the person.
2 hours before the 3 or 4 people that you were having over for intimate barbecue in the backyard arrived, you called a disc jockey.
Well, Your Honor, the disc jockey was a personal friend of Rick's, and when he called his friend, the DJ, he was at another party, and instead of keeping that party there, he decided to bring it with him. That's how all those people ended up at the Irwin's house.
They get put off the premises by the police.
Yeah. We understand that what we did was wrong. That
Perfect.
night,
So then let's get to it. How much damage was caused?
We had to have the house rekeyed because we found that the...
You're absolutely right. Rekeyed. How much? Let me just get out my little calculator.
75.75.
75.75.
The
What else?
car had to be rekeyed, 96.54. No, on the table, I don't know how, or the nightstand, I don't know. I haven't gotten a quote on how much it will cost to fix the ring that's on there.
Do you have a picture of it for me to look at?
Yes, I do.
That's not a major deal. Do you have children?
Yes.
How old are your children?
25 and 27.
Ever left your children alone over the weekend and had a group of people over there that you didn't invite?
Yes, but they're much more responsible than that.
But it's happened. I know. I have kids.
But I think
I've had large parties, unanticipated parties at my house.
But I think the difference is it's my children and it's their home. And
that's why you trust your children. You don't trust strangers. You don't give strangers, teenagers, and those just above teen. How old are you?
I'm 24, but they always told me they treated me like a son.
Don't give me baloney.
Okay.
If they treated you like a son and you treated them like a parent, you would have been more careful with their property. Now let's get to Mr. Cuddy. Mr. Cuddy, according to your complaint, Mr. and Mrs. Irwin were very nice to you. You wanted a motorcycle.
yes.
And Mr. Irwin agreed to advance you some money for the motorcycle.
Yes, he agreed to be the lien holder on the title.
Right. According to what I read, it was $5,000. Is that right?
For $4,800 in these.
So almost $5,000. You put in $1,000 and he paid $4,000. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then he repossessed the motorcycle.
That's correct.
And you want the money that you put down on the
That's
motorcycle.
correct.
That's your claim. Where is the motorcycle now?
It is in storage.
And the title is in your name?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, then you have to return to him $1,009.46.
But, Your Honor,
Yes.
I'm stuck with a bike, and I have a consignment agreement from the dealer that shows that clearly that the value of the bike now, I'm going to take a loss.
Listen to me. If there's bad business on your part, but I can understand Mr. Cuddy. He put in $1,009.46. He had an agreement with you. It was a verbal agreement that you were going to be the lien holder on the bike, and he was going to pay for it. You cannot keep that bike and not give him back his $1,000. You can't do it. So on your counterclaim, Mr. Cuddy, I am awarding you the $1,009.46. On your claim, Mr. and Mrs. Irwin, for these boys doing damage to your home, you are entitled to $197.29 with the admonition to you, keep strangers out of your house and don't give them access to your house because it's always trouble. And with the admonition to you, Mr. Lodge, that if you say to me that these people treated you like you were a child of theirs, one of theirs, and was very good to you, you certainly didn't respect them nor their property in a way that I would like one of my children to behave. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Their house looked better when we left than when we got there.
The reality was it was 2 nights of parties and a barbecue.
He said that the next time Diana went out of town, he wanted us to throw a party again and invite him.
It's closure. That's what we purpose of coming.
He's a shady guy. I mean, he's really a slime ball.
Hopefully we can all move on with our lives and just go forward.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Solomon versus Guerrero, step forward, please.
23-year-old administrative assistant Desiree Solomon is suing her former live-in boyfriend, 31-year-old salesman Anthony Guerrero, for carpeting, a bedroom set, and a cell phone bill. Anthony is countersuing. He wants the big screen TV.
Ms. Solomon, according to your complaint, you and the defendant were in a relationship. You moved into a home that was owned by the defendant's mother.
Correct.
You say it was in relatively poor condition at the time. The defendant had his daughter living with him. Is that right, sir?
Every other weekend.
You worked on the house, cleaned the house, painted some painting. But in addition to that, you claim that you purchased carpeting for the house.
Correct.
You purchased a bedroom set for the defendant's daughter.
Correct.
And then there was an issue of a cell phone bill. You separated because you claim there was some sort of an altercation with the defendant, and you want to be reimbursed for the carpeting, the cell phone bill, and his daughter's bedroom set. The defendant says that the carpeting was your idea, that the bedroom set was also your idea and a gift to the child, and he doesn't know anything about the cell phone bill. We'll get to that. But he's counterclaiming because he says when you left, you took a large screen TV that belongs to him. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did you separate?
September of 2001.
When was the carpeting purchased?
August of 2001.
Now, tell me about the carpet purchase.
I spoke with Mr. Guerrero, and he didn't have good credit because he had a bankruptcy on his credit due to a DUI, and I purchased the carpet for the house.
No, that doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't tell me there was a loan.
Well, he knew that was an agreement. He told me he would pay me back for this carpet if I purchased it for this house.
Tell me the conversation as you remember it.
I think I remember it. We talked to each other on the phone, and we came to the agreement. He had some green carpet in there that was his mother and his stepfather lived in, and he smoked, and the carpet was just kind of like riddled with smoke, and his dad, I think his stepdad was like alcoholic, and it just didn't have a good smell to it.
Let me hear the conversation. Usually when two people are living together and they want to buy something, they say, listen, the carpeting is really gross.
Right. And
let's get rid of it.
And that was the conversation, and he agreed to pay for the carpeting.
Is that right, sir?
No, ma'am.
Let me hear the story.
Your Honor, if we would have had a conversation like that, we probably would have had it at the house where we sit down and made a decision
Tell
like
me
that. There was
how
no
the carpeting came to be put down in the house.
She went to the carpet place, picked the carpet out, picked the design of the carpet, made the color of the carpet all by herself, told me, hey, can you take this day off? I bought carpet, and they're going to be putting it in this day. Can you take this day off and be there to do it? I said, you did what? And she goes, yes, I got carpet. I go, why? Well, it doesn't match the furniture. It's green, and the furniture is, a beige color. And I'm like, I guess. I was there to when they put it in, but in no way did we have a conversation stating anything about, hey, let's go get carpet.
All right, let me hear about the bedroom set, Ms. Solomon.
Okay, Tony, when he moved in the house, I had my own bedroom set that I brought in, and he didn't have any furniture. I brought the furniture in. And of course, he wanted to get a bedroom set for his daughter, make the room kind of nice for her. So we went out together and purchased a bedroom set for his daughter using my credit also.
So?
He told me he would pay me back $100 per month for this bedroom set.
Tell me about that.
Actually, she wanted to get this certain bedroom set for my daughter. Like she said, my credit wasn't the best, so I was going to go out and get my daughter a nice bedroom set, but not the bedroom set that she had chosen. But she wanted to get that. Anyway, neither way, I have 5 canceled checks right here along with the receipts showing where I paid $500 to her with the furniture, or stating on it right there, furniture to Desiree Solomon.
That was for your daughter's furniture?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see it.
And this is also a copy of the receipt.
Did he give you $519 towards the furniture?
Yes, and that was with the cell phone bills. He told me he was going to help me pay for the cell phone bills.
Just a minute. This says furniture on it.
Yeah, I know, but 1 month it was for cell phone bills. He paid me 2 payments in 1 month, and one was that to help me with the cell phone.
How much was the furniture?
$579, Your Honor.
Is that right?
Yes.
So he practically paid you for the bedroom furniture.
Correct.
So what do you want?
I'm wanting the carpet. The carpet.
Carpet you're not going to get. Carpet, I don't believe that you had an agreement when you purchased this carpet that he was going to pay you back for it.
I wouldn't have purchased the carpet if he wasn't going to pay me back. I don't have that kind of money.
I believe that he said he would buy the child's furniture and that he would reimburse you. I don't believe you with regards to the carpet. That's my prerogative. That's my job. Okay, now let's get to the cell phone bill.
Here's a cell phone bill.
Show it to him.
Your Honor, we broke up in September. She has bills here for October.
Because you told me to keep the phone on and you would pay me.
She has
Because
bills.
I didn't want to get charged an early termination fee, $150.
I don't even know what she has on here.
It's your phone number.
Did anybody use the phone after you separated?
Yeah, he did.
Did you pay any of those bills?
No, ma'am.
You did not? All right. So
I asked her to send me a list so I could look at phone numbers, Your Honor, and she sent me one piece of paper saying an amount on there, and that was
But now you looked at the bill.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and how much is that bill?
Altogether, $399.17.
So between that and the $79 that he owes you still for the furniture, because he only gave you $500, the furniture was $579, that's $478.
Correct.
Okay, good. Now, tell me about this big screen TV.
Your Honor, one day I came home from work. She's a very materialistic person. She wanted this, she wanted that in the house, she wanted everything perfect in the house. So she could have people over, show everybody how nice our house was.
Good, but that's what women do.
Fine.
Women nest.
I come home from work one day.
Mr.
she
Guerrero,
has-
women nest. You don't care if the carpet is green and the furniture is orange. Men don't care about that. There are some men that care, most don't. Okay, so she's materialistic. She wanted her house to look nice.
Right. So I came home one day. She says, I'm walking in the living room to the TV room. She's standing there looking like Vanna White with a big TV. And she tells me, this is for you. Now you can have your friends over here. Because there were times on the weekends where I was going to my brother's house, my cousin's house, watch football. They had big screen TVs. She goes, this is for you. I bought this. You can have your friends over here.
So what you're telling me is she bought the TV as a gift for you.
Right.
And then when she left, she took it.
Right.
Try this, sir. This is so you can have your friends over and watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
Try that. Does that sound right? So you want the TV and the new carpet?
Right.
She's got the TV now, right?
Right.
She keeps it.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay?
Yeah, I've been making payments on it. I had the statement here. He's suing for $3,000. I think it's kind of funny. The TV's only $2,000.
Listen, you keep the TV.
Okay.
Out of this deal, it cost you a little bit of beige carpet?
It cost me more than that, you know.
Probably. And a cell phone bill. All right. He owes you $478 judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
This is case number 571 on the calendar in the matter of Harper versus Boozer. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Miss Harper, the defendant was a friend of yours, according to your complaint. You loaned her some money. According to you, you have a note to prove the loan. She did not repay you the entire amount, and you want it. Is that what this is about?
Yes.
Defendant says she borrowed some money, not as much as you claim. She paid you back every cent that she owes you. So, when did you make this loan and why?
I made the loan to Lisa on 6/20/01 because she had written 6 fraudulent checks and she needed the money to repay the checks.
Well, how did you find out about this need that she had for the money?
She called me on 6/19 at 10 o'clock in the morning and asked me to pick her up from work because she had a warrant out on for these checks. So.
She had a warrant out?
Mm-hmm.
How much money did she tell you she needed?
$1,200 and something dollars.
Go ahead.
I had a loan that I had previously and I had paid it off. So she asked me if I could help her. Could I see if I could borrow the money from there to help her out?
What money? Explain that to me.
I borrowed some. I had a loan already at First Franklin. It was, where I could go back and borrow money if I needed to. So then I called them and I asked her, could I borrow $1,200? And she said I could borrow up to $2,000. So I told her I didn't need that much, that I needed $1,200. So I had to do $1,500.
Why did you have to do $1,500?
I couldn't borrow $1,200.
So let me see the loan papers where you borrowed $1,500. Okay. And the total payments that you had to make with all the interest that they add up was $2,280 on this $1,500.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Go ahead.
So then I got the money, and they wrote me out a check, and I had to take the check to the bank, and I cashed the check. And me and my witness, Alice Tanner, we went. I had to pick Alice up to take her to work, so we went to Lisa's sister's house, and I gave her $1,480, and I had her sign.
Now let me see the note that you say you had her sign. You show the defendant this and ask her if it's her signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
Fine. Okay, so I'm going to read this note. It says, I, Regina Harper, that's you, borrowed $2,280 from First Franklin Financial Corporation on 6/20/01 for Lisa Boozer, in which she, Lisa, agrees to pay $100 on the 20th of every month until the balance is paid in full. And you signed that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, how much did you give her back?
Judge Judy, first of all, it was 5 fraudulent checks, okay? The total came up to $830. I have the receipts right here where I paid them. I had $100 of my own money. My mother gave me $30. Regina only gave me $700. I never seen none of the agreement that she signed with the loan company or any of that.
You signed this piece of paper?
Because she said she needed, she was going to get her bills consolidated, and that she needed to let them know that she was not paying that back, that I was the one that would needed to pay that back, not her. Me and her split it that. She needed money for school to pay school off to get her, her grades. She gave me $700 and she kept the rest of it.
Well, how am I supposed to tell that from this note that you signed? How am I supposed to tell that? I mean, are you an unintelligent girl?
No, I am not.
Well,
Me and Regina both went to college together, and she knows this.
If you went to college
Yes,
together,
ma'am.
so you are clearly an intelligent young woman. This is a promissory note for $2,280, where you promised to pay back $100 a month. Now, I don't doubt that that scenario could have happened.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you're an intelligent young woman. Why would you sign something like this?
Because we were friends, and she said she needed the money for her new baby to get her bills consolidated so she wouldn't be in a bind.
Very possible.
Yeah.
Now, you paid her back some. Let me see the receipts of what you paid her.
I never got any receipts. I gave Regina cash. My sister was with me every time I
have
paid her.
all the receipts. She has made 3 payments.
You never gave me a receit. You never.
Because you never paid
You
it.
never gave
You
me
never
no
paid it.
receipt.
I paid.
Where you gave the receipt to?
Don't fight with
in
each
your
other. Listen
name.
to me.
It's in
Don't
your
fight with each other.
Hell, I'm gonna have a receipt.
Shh, don't fight with each other. Don't speak
She
to each
wouldn't
other.
have a
Don't
receipt,
speak.
Judge Judy, because she never went and paid the loan. I had to go and track her down every 20th of the month, 25th, and go and make the payments myself, go to this place.
How
2 or
many
3
payments
times.
did she make?
She made 3.
Of $300?
She made 3 payments of 3, so that's $300, and I've been making them ever since.
Can my sister please speak, Judge Judy?
Sure.
Come on, please.
Go ahead.
They made the transaction at my house, and it was $700 that Regina counted out to my sister at my house. Then we went and we paid on the checks. Me, my mom, and my sister went and paid on the checks. And I was with Lisa on a couple occasions when she did make the payments to Regina. Regina came over to my house to get the payment. The young lady that's with her now, she don't even know where I stay. I never met her. It's my first time ever meeting her. And we went up to the hospital to also give Regina some money, too.
So, I have a piece of paper here. It is a contract. It says, I will pay back this amount of money. If there was a side contract that it wasn't going to be that much money, and I'm not doubting that it's possible that that happened, but I'm not dealing with an unintelligent young woman here.
You're right.
I'm dealing with an intelligent young woman. You have a contract. You agreed. It was notarized. You went in to somebody actually to have it notarized. The signature's notarized. So you were aware that this was a binding sort of contract.
You know, Judge Judy, you know, it's ironic that this would come up after Regina was under investigation at Spummer Regional Medical Center for going into her baby's father, new girlfriend's files. And I told her, me and her went to college together, and we went through too much to get to where we was at. And if they ever came to me and asked me, was she the one that went in her files
And they would see that
found
you
out.
pulled up her.
No,
All right,
ma'am.
listen, I'm not.
No,
I'm,
ma'am.
hey,
No,
listen to me.
ma'am. No, ma'am. You know you did it.
Miss
I don't
Boozer,
work at
Miss
CT.
Boozer.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
saying she don't
Listen
have.
to me.
I don't have S6.
1,
She's
2,
saying-
3. And you're out of here. I'm not a young person anymore. I don't like to shout.
Cologne.
You borrowed this money in June.
Yes, ma'am.
And the interest was substantial. And according to you, and even according to your witness, you made no more than 3 payments on the $700 because that's all she's prepared to testify to. Why didn't you pay the rest? Why? No, don't make up a story. Why didn't you pay the rest?
I paid her the rest. I made, the last payment I gave her was January when I received the court papers.
When you paid her in January, did you get a receipt?
No.
Then I don't believe you. And I'm going to tell you why.
paid her-
Then I'm going to tell you why. Did you pay her by check?
No.
Then I'm going to tell you why. Because unless you are really thick, somebody sues you, and you want to make your final payment. And you say that I won't owe you anything, even though the amount that she was suing you for was different. If you give her the money, you at least say, at least this time, I'm going to do it by a money order so that I have a record. I'm going to do it with a receipt so I have a record. I'll do it by check so I have a record. But you don't just go and hand her the money in cash. So I don't believe you. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested in the amount of $1,700. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think that, you know, she need to go get a life and find her baby's father.
She never was my friend. And when she get back home, she will be picked up because she wrote another check in December.
She goes into her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend's files and finds out that she has breast cancer.
And was going around
goes
telling
around
everybody.
Spartanburg and tell everybody.
Stay away from this one.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Oakley versus Graham. Step forward, please.
50-year-old construction worker Mike Oakley is suing 44-year-old contractor Hans Graham for running him off the road and assaulting him in a fit of road rage. Hans claims Mike started it.
All right, you two gentlemen were in your cars, you don't know each other, and there was an incident that looked to me like a little bit of road rage. Mr. Oakley, you claimed that the defendant caused damage to your car.
Yes.
You want to tell me first when this happened?
This happened November 9th, 6:20 a.m.
Where were you going or coming from, sir?
I was going to work up I-15 out of San Diego.
Was it light or dark out?
It was just getting light.
What kind of car were you driving?
2002 Toyota truck.
Okay, tell me what happened.
I was in the second lane, which is right next to the fast lane, which I traveled that lane.
How many lanes are there altogether?
There was 6.
Go ahead.
We were just going along, and
Who was with you?
Donnie is he works for our company too. He's a carpooler. He rides with me.
Okay.
Driving along, and we got slow traffic in the second lane. It was down to about 60 miles an hour, and I signaled, moved over into the fast lane. Before I knew it, Mr. Graham was on my rear end, and he went to go around me in the second lane. He went past me and cut back into the first lane, and that's where he clipped me and knocked me out of control. I went left, I went right, I went left again and got it under control. I pulled off the road because I couldn't go to the right, there were so many lanes. I pulled off. He had pulled off in front of me about 30, 40 feet. Got out of my truck. As soon as I shut my door, Mr. Graham was right on top of me, saying that he was going to kick my... And he pushed me, and I fell over the little wall that's in between the freeways. I got back up, went to the back of my truck, reached in for a hammer because I didn't know what this guy was going to do next. He came down the side of the truck, stopped there. He went towards the window and asked Donnie if he would like a little bit of this too, and he punched the window. The window didn't break, and after that he came back again, and he stopped and went back to his truck. He wrote down some information, I guess, and he threw the information at me, said I had to go to work, and he left the scene.
Let me see the police report, please.
Mm-hmm.
What is that piece of cardboard that you have, sir?
That's showing how the accident happened. This is Mr. Graham, or this is me, and this is Mr. Graham. He came up behind us. I guess this is the wrong way. Here we go. I'm sorry. Well, he was in the one lane.
You're the red car. Listen to me. In the way
No,
you
I'm
have
not
that
the red-
diagram,
I'm in the second lane here. I moved over, and when he went around...
I said you're
yes,
the red
yes,
car.
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're the red car.
Okay. So I moved over into this lane.
Okay, and probably what you did was you cut him off. Is that right, Mr. Graham?
Yes, ma'am.
You cut him off.
I
He
got in
got
front of him.
angry.
Yes.
So he went around you
Went around me.
to get back in front of you to cut you off.
Yes. And he clipped my front end.
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to get to you in a second.
Thank you.
Can I see what kind of damage was done to your truck, please?
I have the pictures here. It's kind of hard to see because of the light. And here's the estimate for the damage.
What kind of deductible do you have, sir?
$1,000.
Okay. Now, Mr. Graham, I'll hear you, sir.
Is that the amended police report? Because there was actually 2, and I never got the amended one. This was the first one filed. Okay, he left out a couple key facts there. He cut me off, straight off, underneath, couldn't even see his lights. I couldn't even hit my brakes. I went around him and actually kept my tires still in this lane here. When we went up here, I was not concentrating on him. There was another car beside me. I was holding on to my steering wheel, watching this car here. Boom, all of a sudden we make contact. I look back to see him lose control of his vehicle.
Mr. Graham, why did you attempt to get back into the
I didn't. I stayed straight. I went around him. When he made the lane change, he actually went too far over. I mean, he came in front of me quick, and he knows it. He knows he cut me off. You ask him point blank. He
Mr.
cut
Graham,
me off.
that may have happened, sir.
Okay, I didn't even see his lights.
No, listen to me. That may have happened, sir. Let's say he didn't look before he put on his signal. Now, I have, in fact, in my lifetime, seen some drivers. They do the following. They put on their signal, then they change lanes, and then they look. And I'll say to them, no, you got the order wrong. The order is you put on your blinker, then you look. If it's clear, then you change lanes.
That's not what he did. He went...
Okay. So, Mr. Graham, do you think that he did that because he wanted to get into an accident or because he just wasn't thinking?
He wasn't thinking.
Right. Just stop right there. So if somebody's not thinking, I mean, so he wasn't a nut, just wasn't thinking. And I've seen that. I'm sure that most of us have been in that situation where, you know, you're thinking about something else and you want to change a lane, or you're getting on a highway and, you know, you're looking in one direction, you get on the parkway, and all of a sudden you see a car. It comes out of nowhere. That's what causes accidents. But why did you get so angry?
Well,
you got Mr. Graham.
Not yet. Can I finish? You told me let me have my chance to talk.
You got angry because
Okay.
he cut you off.
No, I didn't. Everything happened so quick, I had to get by him. I had another car here. I got angry when we got out of the truck, and that's where he left out more key parts. We weren't 30 feet apart. Our truck was 10 feet apart. I walked to the back of my truck. He threw his door open, got out, threw his hands up, and said, "Why didn't you let me in?" And when he took a step towards me, I stepped towards him. He wasn't going to hit me, so I pushed him. He fell down.
No, Mr. Graham. Listen to me, sir. I read your answer very carefully. You said when he got out of the truck, he said to you, "Why didn't you let me in?" And then you wrote, "I pushed him."
No, he threw his hands up. I'm telling you, he threw his hands up.
So he threw his hands up. You said, "So I pushed him." And then you say, he jumped back up, which means you pushed him hard enough to knock him down.
Yes, ma'am. He fell down.
So when I say to you, Mr. Graham, that you were angry, you can't say to me I wasn't angry.
Oh, no.
You were angry.
I was angry when I got out of the truck. Yes,
You
ma'am.
were angry before you got out of the truck.
No, ma'am.
Well, I think you were.
Well, I didn't have time. It happened like 1, 2, 3. And then he jumped up and he went to his window that I hit, and he told his buddy, "Are you going to get out of the truck or what?" And that's when I said, "Yeah, come on, hit him, get out of the truck."
Mr. Graham, why did you, just a second, you just said you went over to his buddy where you had just hit the window. Why did you hit his window?
No, he went to his buddy.
No, you said to me, I just hit the window.
I did.
You said to me, I hit the
Yes,
window.
ma'am. But before,
why did you hit his window?
I'm talking to his buddy. "Go ahead, get out of the truck. Come on, get out of the truck."
You were out of control. You were out of control. He may have done the wrong thing by cutting you off. And if he got out of the car and say, "Why didn't you let me in?" And maybe it's possible that it's not as I had originally thought, that he just wasn't looking, but that he wanted to get over, and maybe you weren't letting him in, and he went over anyway. That's a possibility. But my sense of what happened here is you totally overreacted to a situation.
That's incorrect, Your Honor.
Where were you going to, Mr.
I was
Graham?
going to work. I was going to a job where I install a marble and granite, and I had a marble delivery there I had to sign for. I was not out of control. If I would have been out of control, I would have thumped him.
You were out of control, sir, because you put your hands on him first, and then you went over to...
He stepped towards me with his hands in the air.
No.
Yes, ma'am, he did.
No. I don't believe that, sir. I don't
Okay.
believe that he stepped towards you with his hands in the air in a combative position. If he did, I'm telling you, based upon your posture here today, you would have hit him, not pushed him. And then after that happened, you went over to his friend. I'm speaking. You went over to his friend who was in the passenger seat, and you banged on the window.
No, but
Judge
I was
for the
under
plaintiff
control.
in the amount of $1,000. That's all.
Yeah, this is case number 487 on the calendar in the matter of Tucker Parman versus Owsley Brown. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes.
Your relationship to Taran?
I'm her mother.
This is your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Neither of you were present on November 19th of 2001 when this fight took place. Is that right? You are merely here as nominal parties. You are suing because your daughter had certain medical bills, and your daughter is a minor. So you're here with her. So I'm going to have the two moms sit down. Taryn, it is your claim that Erica assaulted you on the 19th of November, that she assaulted you and caused you some very serious injury. You had some 50 stitches as a result of this incident. And the defendant says that there was a fight, but she struck back in self-defense, correct? So, Taryn, why don't you tell me what started this argument?
Well, I never had an argument with her, actually. It was nothing to do with me and her. I had went to the park.
You went to the park?
Yeah.
Who did you go to the park with?
I went to the park with Steven, who was my boyfriend at the time.
And what did you go to the park for?
Well, a week prior to this happening, he had broken up with me to go out with Ashley, her witness.
And then he came to your house?
And he said that I want to be back with you. I don't want to go out with her anymore. Let's go to the park. I know they're up there, and we'll tell her
that me and her aren't going to be together anymore, that me and you are going to be together.
Why was that necessary, Taryn? Why was it necessary for you to accompany him?
It wasn't, but...
It sure wasn't. That was really stupid. If he wants to have a conversation with his couple of weeks girlfriend, let him take care of that by himself. All right, so you get to the park. And what happened when you get to the park with the genius over here?
Well, I go to get out of the car, and Ashley runs over the side of the car. I really didn't have a chance to have words with her because she came over, started saying cuss words, you want to fight me, flicked a cigarette on my face, and came at me, so I came back at her.
What do you mean you came back out at her?
She came at me like to hit me, so I came back at her.
Just a minute. How could you come back at her if you were in the car?
No, this is right after I stepped out of the car. She ran over the car.
She ran over to the car when you first arrived.
Well, I stepped out of the car, and then here she comes around the corner.
No, you didn't tell me that. Now you're getting back. So you got out of the car.
Yes.
And the boyfriend got out of the car.
Yes.
And Ashley comes running up to you, cursing you.
Yeah.
Because now you're with her boyfriend, right? You think. And then you've had a fight with her.
Yes.
Just the two girls.
Me and Ashley, yes.
And what is Prince Charming doing while you're fighting with Ashley?
Standing with his brother and other people that had came to the park. They were standing there watching, I guess.
Okay, so did you finish fighting with Ashley?
Yeah, her brother came up and kind of broke it up. She walked over to her friends, and I walked over with Stephen beside his car.
And then what happened?
Then Stephen's brother, who was there, were trying to get Erica to hit me. They're like, oh, fighter, fighter. She just beat up your friend.
Just a second. His group
yes.
was instigating Erica
yes.
to fight you. And tell me again what they were saying.
They were just telling her, they were like, oh, she got in a fight with your friend. How are you going to let her do that to your friend?
So they wanted your boyfriend, Prince Charming over here, according to you, wanted Erica to beat you up.
Yes.
And that's after he told you to come to the park with him to tell Ashley that he didn't want to see her anymore.
Yes.
You following this?
Oh, very closely. Very closely.
All right, so now they're instigating Erica to fight you.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Okay, well, I was standing near Stephen's car, and they were all in a group near us. I wanted to leave. I had said to Stephen, I looked over and I'm like, let's leave. When I went to turn back around, she hit me in the side of the face, got me on the ground, got on my back, took my head and slammed it into the concrete. That's a lot.
Shh, just a second. Wait 1 second, you're going to have a turn.
Okay.
And is that when you were injured?
Yes.
And where were you injured?
All around my eye, and I have pictures.
I'd like to see them. And these injuries occurred as a result of your face being slammed into the concrete?
Yes.
What are these marks on your back?
Well, when she got me like onto the ground, I guess she dug her nails into my back.
What finally stopped the fight?
After she did that, I guess she realized what she had done because, immediately blood started gushing out. They looked, saw what I'd done, and everyone ran and got into cars to leave.
What about Prince Charming?
He came over to me, and we got in his car and we left.
Now let me hear your version of the events.
Well, her cousin Stephanie was at school one day, and she came up to me before all this stuff had happened and said that she went up to the park and Ashley ran from her. This is how it all started, okay? This has to do with later on in
I don't
the
have a
story.
cousin named Stephanie, but...
Don't interrupt her.
Well, they said they were cousins. And she said that she ran from her. So I was like, that's not true. My friend wouldn't run from her, you know? I was like, that's lying. I was like, she's lying, you know? She got suspended from school for coming at me.
Who did?
Her cousin, Stephanie. Well, they said they were cousins.
Okay. So she got suspended from school.
Yeah.
And this was before this happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what happened on the 19th?
Stephen and Ashley were at the park. They got into a fight. He said, oh, well, I'm going to get Taryn because Ashley broke up with him.
So he was at the park first,
Yeah.
before he went to pick up
Yeah,
Taryn.
we were all at the park without her there.
And they had an argument. These two people had an argument.
And she broke up with him. So he was like, oh, well, I'm going to get Taryn, you know. She's going to whoop your butt when I get back. So she picks Taryn up. Taryn gets out of the car. Oh, so you're the little twit that Steven's going out with. And she's like, yeah, you know what? And Taryn was like, oh, well, you know, calling her names, calling her a B, you know, saying dirty cuss words to her. And so Taryn hit her. And then Ashley hit her, and they were rolling on the ground and everything. Mike came over, got
Who's
him.
Mike?
Her brother. He came over, got him up, and Taryn was standing there, and she was like acting like a tough, like a bully or whatever. And so Taryn comes over to me. She's like, oh, so who's the one that got my cousin suspended from school? She's like, Erica, like that. And I was like, yeah, that's me. She's like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to have to fight for my cousin. And then she went like that, and she flinched at me, and she hit me, and I hit her.
No, just a second. She flinched at you.
Yeah.
Make sure you tell me, listen to me. Make sure you tell me everything that happened. Don't embellish it to make it sound better, because I'm a truth machine.
I know.
Do you understand?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 17-year-old Taryn Parman claims she was badly injured during a fight with 15-year-old Erica Brown. Erica says Taryn was looking for trouble, and she found it.
So far, I believe you. So now don't tell me anything that's not true.
Oh, my.
So here we go. After she flinched at you, what happened?
I moved like that because I thought she was going to hit me.
Yes, very slowly. And if you don't remember what happened next, you can say, I don't remember what actually happened next. Don't make it up as you go along.
I'm not.
Good. So you moved back to sort of avoid her.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then she hit me in the jaw.
How did she hit you?
With her fist.
Yes.
She punched me in the jaw. And so I was like, and I hit her, and then she fell to the ground on her back. I didn't scratch her. The gravel, it was gravel. It wasn't concrete. The gravel scratched up her back. That was it. Because she had a very hurt knee, and her knee was all tore up and everything.
Okay, so she fell on her back.
Right. She was getting up like she was going to come at me. She grabbed my hair. I grabbed her hair. I banged her head into the ground. Then after that, it was like she got up and she just got into the car. She didn't say nothing to nobody. She didn't say anything. She just got up, got into the car. Steven got in. They left. That was it.
So what you're telling me is she hit you first.
Yes.
And you retaliated. Okay. Now I want you to tell me about this cousin, Stephanie.
I don't have a cousin named Stephanie.
I said in quotes, cousin, friend, whatever.
It's a girl that I used to know in middle school who moved away for 4 years and just moved back.
Yes.
I don't hang out with her.
Yes.
I know who she is. We talk at school occasionally when I went to school.
And I want you to tell me about this discussion that you had with the defendant, even though it was a short discussion, about Stephanie.
We never said anything to each other. At that park that day, we never said a word to each other.
So then you're telling me she just came on and assaulted you?
Denny, Steven's brother, and all of them were saying, oh, beat her, you know, beat her up, beat her up, beat her up. I went to turn around and she hit me. I never touched her. She hit me, she got me on the ground.
Steven was there.
She smacked
He
my
knows.
head into the ground.
Just a second. Stephen, you think I would believe a thing that he tells me? This idiot? Stand up here, Stephen. I mean, I can't resist this one. You had a fight with Ashley at the park.
Yes, ma'am.
And after you had a fight with Ashley at the park, you went to her house.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said, we're going to go to the park now,
Yes, ma'am.
where the other people are sort of hanging around, because we're bored today, so maybe we can create a fight. Right?
No, ma'am. I wasn't
Well, what
thinking
did you go there for with her?
To talk to Ashley and let her know that I'm going to be back with Taryn.
You're lying.
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Yes, you are. What was the reason for getting her involved with Ashley?
I didn't know that Ashley was going to run up to the car and start a fight.
Well, you had had a fight with Ashley before you left the park.
It wasn't really a fight.
It was really a fight. It was an argument, which is why you went to her house. It was really an argument. She may not have hit you and you may not have hit her, but you had an argument. That's why you went to her house.
During the whole time that him and her had been going out, I had been talking to Ashley on the phone, so I never thought a conflict would... I had been talking to her. I told her that he was cheating on her. He was cheating on her the whole time he was with her. I talked to her on the phone every single day. She called me.
How old are you?
17.
You should be smarter at 17. I don't expect you to be fully cooked, but you shouldn't be an idiot. You went there looking for trouble, along with him. He especially knew that there was going to be trouble, and that he and his relatives egged a fight, egged her on to fight with you. Doesn't that say something about him? That he's a moron? Yeah. And you're a moron for being there. For that, you don't get rewarded. You got injured? Did you call the police?
Yes.
And was she arrested?
Yes, she was.
Was the charge dismissed?
Yes, it was.
Why?
They never told me.
Self-defense.
She didn't even file a police report. If I had hit her, why didn't she file a report?
I have it right here. Shh, just a second. Maybe she did. Self-defense. You went there looking for trouble, but for the fact that you went there with this idiot, there wouldn't have been a fight. And the two of you went there looking for trouble. And he knew that because he knew that there were two different factions there. And Mr. Idiot over here stood by while his two girlfriends fought. Isn't that what you told me? What is he doing sitting on your side of the table?
Because he was there.
Is he still your boyfriend?
No.
Shh. Thank God for small favors. Anyway, you went there looking for trouble. You found it. Pay your own medical bills. Case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you, Judge Judy. Taryn's a troublemaker, and she went looking for trouble, and she found it.
Jealousy, over girls being girls.
Look at me and look at her. Nobody likes her. She's not a liked person.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Busby versus Landfear. Step forward, please.
27-year-old telemarketer Larry Busby is suing 40-year-old tattoo artist Bill Lamphere for the cost of a tattoo and for the cost of its removal.
Mr. Busby, do not get too comfortable, sir. This case is not going to take that long.
Okay.
According to your complaint, you went to the defendant to have a tattoo put on your arm of your girlfriend.
Correct.
He put the tattoo on your arm. According to you, it was a terrible job. You went someplace else and had the other arm tattooed, same girlfriend. Is that right?
Yes.
You want the defendant to pay not only what you paid him to tattoo your arm because you didn't like the job, but you want him to pay the cost of having the tattoo surgically removed.
Yes, that's correct.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Step up, sir. Let me see the tattoo that the defendant put on your arm.
This is it right here.
Okay. Now let me see the tattoo and her name is Silly?
No, that's just what I call her. It's like a nickname. And both tattoo artists, they use the same.
Don't speak to me, just show me.
Okay.
And there's Silly Girl.
Right.
Okay, so we have one silly. Now let me see the other one. One silly and one silly girl.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Step back, sir. Tattooing, excuse me, Mr. Lamphere, I think it's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. All right, people.
I make a good living at it.
I understand that, especially if somebody tattoos a picture of a girlfriend or a girlfriend's name on an arm. I mean, marriages don't last. 50% of people get divorced first time, 40% the second time. They put the names of the girlfriend. They all want to have it taken off. The second wife doesn't like the first wife's name staring at her in the middle of the night, you know. Well, that's stupidity. Not only didn't you put a name, you put a whole picture on there. And not everything is the same. It's an art form. It's not going to be exactly a picture. It's going to be a rendition of a picture. Even if you stay together, she's going to get older. And your skin is going to change. Do you know what happens to your skin sometime? As you get older, Mr. Busby, what happens is the skin gets a little flabby. So her face may not change, but your arm is going to get a little droopy. And believe me, sir, 20 years from now, those pictures are going to look very, very different on your arm.
Well, ma'am, if I can just explain that the fact I want a tattoo of the way she looks now, I understand, you know, she's going to age and things are going to look different, but I want something
and
the
your
way she
arm
looks
is going to
now.
age, sir.
Right, I understand that, ma'am. The main point is that I took this picture right here that I had blown up, this picture right here, to both tattoo artists, okay? And I understand there's a certain amount of freedom that each artist has for their artistic freedom. And I can even point out in this tattoo right here that, you know, it's a different necklace. The hair's got a few different waves in it, you know, and I'm not trying to be like a complete perfectionist. Like the nose is a little too big there, but that's not a big deal. I'm not like that strict about being perfection. But I mean, like these two, it's no resemblance at all to her. I carried in a stack of photographs like this.
Mr. Busby, sometimes you go get your hair done. You go to a very, very famous hairdresser, and they color your hair, if one does that, and they cut your hair, and it comes out terrible. You hate it. You don't go back to them. You don't go back. This is a very subjective thing you have on your arm, sir.
But I made it clear to him that I wanted, I guess why I used so many different pictures, I wanted to have a strong resemblance to her. And this tattoo does not resemble her at all. It looks like Linda Blair from The Exorcist. I went in there, I told him, I said, this is my girlfriend.
Doesn't look like Linda Blair. It looks lovely. And maybe if this relationship doesn't work out, you'll find somebody who more closely resembles your right arm. Now, if you go to a tattoo artist who is not taking the photograph, it's a rendition, it's a picture of somebody. Why somebody would want to have that done, I have no clue to begin with. It's not a photograph. It's a picture. It's his sense of what it is. And maybe he's a lousy tattoo artist. But you don't sue for that, sir. And I certainly, after I had one experience that didn't turn out the way I liked it, wouldn't have gone to somebody else and had the other arm tattooed. Oh. To make a long story short, sir, you now have 2 tattoos. If you want to have one taken off, take it off. He's not paying for it. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Goodbye. 90 on the calendar in the matter of Lede versus Holt. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
All right, I have a complaint and a cross-complaint. And basically, you 2 people lived together for 5 years. You have a child together. You moved out. You claim that the defendant either destroyed or took some of your property. He says when you moved out, you took his property. That's where we're at, right?
Yes.
Okay. When did you start to live together?
We started in 96, if I'm not mistaken.
And have you been together continuously since 96?
Most of the time, yes. It was more after a while, breakup and separation and coming back.
And how old is your child?
She's 4.
Is there any reason why you didn't get married?
Yes, lots of reasons. Mr. Holt couldn't hold down a job for no more than 2 weeks. He just had one previously for a year and maybe 3-4 months, and he lost that one. The other reasons were Mr. Holt also a lot of times would smoke marijuana. I didn't like that too much, and he'll stop. I'll take him back and start back up. My mistake. Yes. And another thing was Mr. Holt's violent attitude. We have one incident already in 97 for domestic violence, and I took him back for, I know, for many reasons. No, I know, it's a sad story.
But you lived together for 5.5 years.
Yes.
And during that 5.5 years, I assume you were employed?
Yes, I was.
Continuously?
Continuously.
And you were employed sporadically?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
And who watched the baby when the baby was born?
I did.
While you were working?
No. We had a child care that I was paying for when Mr. Holt would go for his minimum wage job, and then he'll come home and say he's sick. And so the next day, the job wouldn't take him back because he either got sick, complained of a stomach ache or something. So that was on and off. And then when he was home, he would watch her. But I will pay for a sitter because I wanted him to try to get out there and find a job.
Why do you have such trouble keeping a job, Mr.
Your Honor, we got together in 1996. 1997, I had an injury to where I was disabled for a couple of years.
What was the nature of your disability?
Well, me and her got into it because she went to go visit her ex-boyfriend. That's the reason why the domestic violence even occurred.
What was the nature of your disability?
I was shot by LAPD. Me and her went through a little confrontation. LAPD came up and they shot me.
Where did they shoot you?
In my leg.
What?
Okay. The reason why he didn't get shot for that, he got shot because he was jumping on me. And the neighbor saw me. He dragged me, and the neighbor called the police. So he got shot for domestic violence and also for having a weapon in your hand.
What kind of weapon?
A knife.
So he was dragging you and he had a knife in his hand?
Yes.
So they disabled him by shooting him in the leg?
Yes.
You were real lucky.
Can I, Your Honor?
Let it rain. All right. Let's move on. You finally decided, Ms. Lede, that you had had enough.
Yes.
And you moved out.
Yes.
Okay. What is it that you claim that the defendant either took or destroyed?
Well, previously I had put him out in July. Mr. Holt begged to come back because he was on a lease and he was going to bring the police. So to keep everything down, and because I have kids, I didn't want the police at my house and everything being interrupted. I let Mr. Holt back in. We agreed November that we were going to separate it after the lease was going to be final, and I was going on with my life. He was going on with his. Mr. Holt, meanwhile, The beginning of September up to now, Mr. Holt decided, I guess he was going to have to find another place to lay his head and start having an affair on me. So when I found out about the affair, I was upset, of course, and I was angry. So I went home to pack as much stuff as I could. And I left it where Mr. Holt could come back in to get his own belongings.
What do you claim that he either took or destroyed?
He destroyed my whole household, my furniture, my bedroom set. I have photos. I have a police report.
Let me see, please. Was he arrested for this vandalism?
They haven't. They don't know where the case is right now. I went to the police department. They just have it on it because they don't have an address. Or.
So you weren't arrested?
No, ma'am.
You have the receipts for this furniture that you purchased?
Yes, I do.
You made quite a mess here, Mr. Holt.
The only thing that I did was color the couches with ice cone syrup.
What'd you do that for? Well,
why'd I do that? Because she took everything of mine, and everything in the house, she did not buy by herself. It accumulated with us for the last 5 years. None of that stuff
I'm going to get there.
All right.
I mean, I see what you did to these sofas.
Yes, that I did.
She said she bought these sofas in February of 2001, so they were relatively new. Did you buy the furniture, or did she?
She bought the couches. Yes, she did.
So that's the thing that you decided to destroy, the thing that she had bought.
Well,
what?
She took everything of mine. When I came in that house, everything was cleared. Everything, the TVs, the DVD player, the VCR, my PlayStation 2, a car that I helped accumulate with her, all my videotapes that I've been collecting with me and my daughter for over the past years. She took everything of mine. See, I'm not the type of person that would go to court.
Mr. Holt, let me ask you a question, sir. Did you file tax returns last year?
Yes, I did.
How much did you earn on your tax returns last year?
Yeah, I made about
Not about file tax returns last year.
About 1823 for
What's
this
1823? 18.
About 23,000.
And how much did you report on your tax returns that you made the year before last?
About 14, 15.
Now, did you file tax returns last year?
Yes, I did.
How much did you earn on your tax returns last year?
My total earnings were 52.
52,000?
Yes.
So it's clear who was maintaining the household. Because on what you earn, sir, you can hardly support yourself.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sylvia Leday says when she confronted ex-boyfriend Troy Holt about him cheating, he doused her couches with snow cone syrup.
Okay. Mr. Holt, do you have other children other than this child?
Yes, I do.
Where are your other children?
One's with her, and the other one's with her mother.
One child is with her mother? Do you pay child support for that child?
Yes, I do.
How much do you pay in child support?
Well, before she took me to the DA, and they came down with a price, I was paying her about $100 every 2 weeks.
So out of this $20-some-odd thousand, you were paying child support in the amount of $200 a month or $2,400 a year. So let me hear how you bought this television set and this DVD player and the PlayStation and all that other stuff that you claim that you stole that was yours.
Well, I mean, I get 2 tapes a month. I got a proof right here that I've been going to this guy for years, that I've been buying videotapes from him for years.
What's the rent on the place where you live?
$1,265 with our water and trash. It's come to $1,300.
Who paid the rent?
I paid the rent.
Just a minute. Did you have a joint account?
No, we didn't.
Your Honor, she didn't pay everything at that house. I gave out of each paycheck from $500 to $550 to $600 every single 2 weeks.
That's impossible, sir, on your earnings.
I was bringing home $1,400, $1,500 a month. So how is that impossible? I would barely have money for myself. I would ask her, where's the groceries at?
Grow up.
You grow up.
Okay, you have to understand, Ms. Leday, when people live together, there's no way that a court is going to be able to, or wants to, make everybody whole.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
You chose not to get married. You said he's got a lot of impediments to marriage, but not a lot of impediments to living with him and having a child with him. There are no statutes like there are when you're married. You're married, everything is community property in some states, or it's depending upon who purchased it. When you live together for 5.5 years, no court is going to go back over history to decide whose tape was that and who made the mess here and who broke that dish and who broke that picture frame. It's just not going to happen unless there's a specific act of vandalism. Clearly, according to the police report, there were specific acts of vandalism You have bills for the sofas that you bought, and they were, in fact, not purchased in February of '01, but according to this bill, they were purchased in August of 2000.
Yes.
All right, so you were mistaken. They weren't purchased just a few months ago.
Okay, I'm
Doesn't
sorry.
make any difference.
Okay, I'm
You
sorry.
paid, not $1,700 as you quoted in the police report, but you paid for them a total of $1,432. That you're going to get back from Mr. Holt because he purposefully destroyed them, making them impossible for anybody to use. The police officer also indicates that the bedroom furniture was totally destroyed because he took the drawers out of the furniture, threw them around, making them incapable of being put back. Now, you only paid how much for that?
I paid $600, but it was in '99. It was a while.
Do you have a bill?
I just have a letter from her because it was from a friend.
No, I'm not taking this letter from
Your
a
Honor.
friend. What?
That she bought from a lady in Compton for $175
I'm not
because she
dealing
was
with
trying.
that.
The
I'm not
drawers
dealing
were
with that.
already out.
I'm not dealing with
Okay.
it. Fine. Can't destroy property. It's not nice. Now, you have any bills for the TV, VCR,
Do
etc.?
I? No.
Yeah,
She
well, then I-
took everything out of the
Then
drawers.
I can't help you.
But
She may
I
have taken-
do have bills of what she did take and how much it accumulated to.
I'm going to take a look at them, sir.
Okay.
You need a bill. And if she took everything, then you go back to the store where you bought the TV or where you bought the VCR, and you say, I lost my bill. Get me a duplicate bill, please. Did you do that?
No, I just went and got these tapes. They're just the tapes that I accumulated over the years. It was mine and my daughter's when it was our special moment together.
Do you still have visitation with your daughter?
No, I got to take her to court to get visitation.
All right. Let me just see his list so he feels as if I've looked at it.
May I say something? Your
Sure.
Honor? The tapes that he's speaking about are Dragon Ball Z cartoon tapes. Mr. Holt and I purchased those tapes together because our daughter enjoys those tapes. Mr. Holt told me when he was crying to me 2 weeks after his little affair, he called me 2 weeks telling me that he was sorry and that he still loved me, and whatever I do, keep the Dragon Ball Z tapes for Taylor and to just make sure that I keep the collection up. I told him, I said, okay, fine. I can do that with no problem. The TV...
I'm not dealing with the TV.
Okay, we're out for the TV.
Forget
You
the
did say
TV,
that.
forget the
Okay.
VCR. My question is, do you have the tape?
I sure do. And
I want you to do me this favor.
Okay.
No, do me a favor, we'll put it in an order.
Okay.
I want you to box up the tapes.
Okay.
In really good condition.
I will.
And give them back to him.
Okay.
Because if he eventually gets visitation with the child, then he'll be able to watch them with her. And if he doesn't, he can sit and watch them himself. Okay, go ahead.
I've been collecting these tapes and a lot of this stuff for a long time. Now, these tapes I put on shelves. They're in like mint condition. I collect these tapes because they add up to pictures. She's the type of person that will let everybody just take them, bend them up, wreck them up.
You're getting your tapes back.
Messed
She's
up?
not paying for them. There's no proof that they're messed up, sir.
When she hands them to me, it will be.
I didn't hear what he said. Did you hear what he said? So I'm not interested in what he said. There's no proof that they're messed up, sir. She doesn't appear to be the kind of woman that if her daughter wanted to watch a tape, what she would do is she would purposefully damage it so her daughter couldn't watch it.
Right.
So you're going to get your tapes back within 5 days, and you owe $1,432 for the couch. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Make sure a woman doesn't help you out with nothing. You do it all on your own.
Nobody likes him except for the Happy Meal that he have right now. He traded in filet mignon and lobster for a Happy Meal, and he has to be the toy. So that's what you get.
And now the next case.
All parties on Bennett versus Handel. Step forward, please.
30-year-old horticulturist Lisa Bennett is suing her ex-boyfriend, 28-year-old photographer John Handel, for a series of unpaid loans and damage to her home.
Ms. Bennett, according to your complaint, you met the defendant, began dating, he lost his job, you lent him some money, broke up, now you want it back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Defendant says that he acknowledges that he owes you some money, but 1/3 of what you are claiming. So, when did you meet him? When did you start to make these loans, and for what?
He was my next door neighbor. We met about a year prior to us dating, and about a month after we had dated, he didn't have any money because he lost his job. He refused to go to work. He would lie to his boss and said...
Don't tell me, but he lost his job.
He lost his job. and he didn't have money to cover the December bills. So I took his sob story and I paid for all of the bills for the month of December. In January, he didn't have any money to cover the month of January either, so I agreed to let him move in with me on the 15th. He did give me $250 for rent, and that was about it. And he lived with me for a month and a half before I finally was at my wits' ends with him and kicked him out.
How much were the bills that you paid for him in the month of December?
December, the rent was $595 times 28% interest for 6 months.
Just give me $595.
$595 in rent and $422.20 in other things like car insurance and his electric, cable, things like that.
Then he moved in with you?
Yes.
Where does the other money come from?
The first thing is he spilled chlorophyll on my beige carpet in my spare bedroom. So I feel that...
When did he spill this on your carpet?
About 2 weeks after he moved in. And he promised me that he would pay to have the carpet cleaned.
Did you have it cleaned?
Yes, I did.
How much was it to have it cleaned?
$91.50.
Did you promise to have the carpet cleaned?
Yes.
What's next?
He also put a hole in the wall when he was moving out that he needs to...
Did you put a hole in the wall?
I was disassembling my computer desk. A piece had fallen over and punched a hole about this size in the wall, and I did offer to pay for that repair.
And what is that repair?
That was at $25.
What's next?
That's it, minus the interest from my credit card debt.
The bills alone that you paid for him come to $1,133.50. Where do you get $3,000 from?
Because I have a 6-month interest fee on the December charges that I did for him. The interest is mounting, and I feel that he should pay that because he did put those on my credit cards knowing that he was going to have to pay the interest as well.
No, you never told me that he agreed to pay interest.
He knew that there was going to be interest because I put them on my credit cards.
We're still not up to $3,000, Miss Bennett.
He also ran up my phone bill while he was living there. He did not pay any expenses. I paid for his food. I paid for everything when he was living there for a month and a half.
So?
Well, I think that he should pay for at least part of the phone bill that he ran up.
Did you have that as an agreement with him?
He was supposed to pay me some money back as soon as he got a job, which he never did.
So he never did.
Your Honor, there was some conversation between Lisa and I stating that of what I was willing to give her. At the time I had lost my job, at that time she offered for me to come live with her. There was no, you owe me, you know, after this is over or till you get back on your feet.
No, listen to me, sir. She feels as if you should pay her for the time that you were living there some of the expenses. But there was never that agreement. She feels as if it would be right. Well, we don't deal with that in court. We deal with what contracts are made. Contracts are made either verbally or...
I have contracts here, Your Honor.
Contracts from what?
One from my witness who couldn't make it.
Forget it. I'm not interested. Take it, throw it in the garbage. Next.
It's another witness statement.
Take it and throw it in the garbage. What else?
I have a check here that I had given her.
You gave her a check for how much?
$200.
Was that for expenses while you were living there?
Yes, just for, that's the only money I could come across at the time I was unemployed.
Fine, so you still owe her $1,133.50, right?
Okay.
Perfect. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Yeah, this is case number 390 on the calendar in the matter of Hopkins versus Googler. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. Be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Ms. Hopkins, the defendant is your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that owing to the fact that your mother made a false report to Child Protective Services, your children were removed from your custody for a brief period of time. In addition to that, you lost your job and suffered other financial ramifications as a result of that false complaint. Your mother's response indicates that she told the truth. She doesn't deny that she made a report to Child Protective Services. Is that right?
That's right.
Your grandson was visiting with you.
Yes, he was.
How old is he?
9.
Your daughter has how many children?
2.
You have a 9-year-old and then a 5-year-old?
5-year-old.
5-year-old is a girl or a boy?
Boy, 2 boys.
And other than the 2 children, who do you live with?
My fiance.
Is he the father of either of these children?
No, he is not.
Do the 9-year-old and the 5-year-old have the same father?
No, they do not.
When was your grandson visiting with you?
I picked him up on October the 2nd. I took him home on October the 5th. And then I went back and picked him up again on October the 7th. And I kept him until October the 10th when the Sheriff's Department called me, took my statement, and asked me to bring my grandson to the police station.
Okay. Now, I'd like you to tell me, Ms. Kugler, what prompted you to call Child Protective Services?
My grandson, on October the 3rd, told his grandfather that Mommy had threw a phone and hit him.
You didn't hear this conversation?
No, he told his granddad.
Okay. Mr. Kugler, where were you when you had this conversation with your grandson?
In the front room of our house.
What prompted the conversation?
He came in, he was on the computer doing a school game, computer game, or race cars or something. And he came in to me and he says, Daddy, my head hurts. And I says, what happened? And he says, Mother hit me with the phone. I looked at it and there was a bruise behind his ear and a little redness.
Just redness?
A little lump. Not
This was the day after he arrived?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Gina was at therapy treatment. When she came home, I said, Timmy came up to me a little while ago complaining of a sore behind his ear. It hurt. So we called Timmy back in, and he repeated it to us.
Did he say when that happened?
It was just the day before when he was over at the house with his mother.
No, Judge Judy. Timothy didn't give me the exact date, but he had told me that his mom, when his dad brought him home from a visit, had threw his Pokemon cards in the garbage.
Okay. And then what did he tell you?
He says, my mommy threw the phone and it hit me right here, Grandma. I says, what happened, Timothy? He says, Mommy was mad because I was whining over my bicycle, my finger bicycle.
Finger
bike. It's a little bike that you play with, you can use for your fingers. And it broke and Mommy was mad. And I went, okay.
That's not true.
Shh. Go ahead.
So I told him, I says, Timmy, I says, I know that you're 9 years old, and I know that you're a big boy, but Grandma needs to see you. I says, I need to see if there's any marks on you. There was black and blue marks on Timothy's bottom.
Where on his bottom?
They were across his bottom.
Across his buttocks?
Yes.
What did they look like?
They were black and blue marks.
Were they linear?
He had a bruise on his leg that looked like it was an electric cord that he got hit with.
Did you ask him about it?
I asked him, and he says, Mommy hits me with the belt wherever she wants to hit me.
Oh, my God.
So what did you do, Miss Kugler?
I cried because I know how nasty my daughter's temper can be.
What did you do?
They called the police.
Shh. Miss Hopkins?
No, I did not, Your
What did
Honor.
you do?
I called CPS the following morning.
Okay, and you made a report?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Then you say on the 5th of October you brought your grandson back to his mother's.
Yes, I did.
Did you have any conversation with her when you brought
No,
the
I did
child
not.
back?
I did not ask her about it.
Okay. Was this the first time that you had noticed any bruises on your grandson?
No, it's not.
When previously to that had you noticed any bruises on your
Back in
grandson?
1998, when he was 5 years old, he had a bruise on his leg that you could tell it was a cord that had smacked his leg.
Did you have a conversation with your daughter at that time?
I told my daughter at that time that she needed anger management because she was very, very angry when it came to her kids. That same day that we got into that conversation, Your Honor, she told my grandson he didn't mind his grandpa one day. She told him if he didn't listen to his grandpa that she was going to pound the living out of him.
Okay. When you had this conversation with your daughter when your grandson was 5, did your daughter acknowledge at that time that she had in fact hit him?
No, she didn't.
When did either Child Protective Services, Ms. Hopkins, or the police come to your home?
October 10th. There was 2 reports made, one on October 3rd, the second one on October 10th. They said that I was accused by my stepfather, Mr. Googler, that I beat my son in the head with a phone. And I said, that didn't happen. What did happen was about 3 weeks before, Mr. Timmy got mad at me because I threw his Pokemon cards away.
Mr. Timmy, is that
That's what I would refer to my baby. Well, I have Mr. Timmy, Mr. Andy. Mr. Timmy got mad at me because I threw his Pokemon cards away because I don't approve of them. And he said, I want to call Grandma. I said, you're not calling Grandma. You're going to go to your room. He said, you're being just like Grandma says, Mom. And I threw the phone at the wall, and the phone did break.
When you threw the phone at the wall, did any part of the phone hit him accidentally?
I don't know. It could have. The battery of the back of the phone could have. But there was no marks on that child.
Okay, just a second. So that it is possible that part of the phone, when you threw it in anger, did in fact hit your son?
It could have. It could have.
Could have.
It could have.
Now, as far as the mark that your mother says she saw on the child's buttocks.
She bumped her head.
Shh, pay attention to me. Have you ever used a belt or something else to reprimand your children?
I have spanked my son on his behind with my hand. I have never beat him with a belt, an extension cord, a vacuum cord, or anything
or any
for that
other
matter.
kind of cord. When was the last time prior to October the 3rd that you spanked your son with your hand?
He doesn't get spanked all that often.
No, I'm just asking you because your mother says she saw.
My mother's a liar.
Just answer my questions, would you please?
Months.
Months.
It doesn't do anything to spank Timmy.
Fine. Now, the police arrived with Child Protective Services, and they arrived at your house on the 10th.
It was just the police at first. They
And
talked to me and my fiance. As soon as they left, I called my mother, and I said, you need to bring Timmy home because we need to have a family discussion. No, I don't want to bring him home. What's going on? I said, just bring him home. I'm going to lose my grandson. And she started crying. And I said, okay, I will meet you at your house, and we'll sit at your table, and we'll have a family discussion. We did so. Myself, my fiance, and my 5-year-old went to my mother's house. We sat at her kitchen table, and I said, Timmy, why did you say that? And he looked at my mother. And I said, Timmy, baby, you need to tell me because I'm in a lot of trouble now. Because I wanted to stay at Grandma and Grandpa's house for the rest of my break. I didn't want to go back to stay with my dad on the weekend. And I said, you shouldn't have lied. And my mother looked at Timmy and said, Timmy, you shouldn't have told Papa that if it wasn't true. You should not have lied to Papa. And he said, I'm sorry, Grandma.
Okay.
We left, and about 6 p.m., sheriff showed up at my house and took my 5-year-old and said that I was under investigation for child abuse and child neglect. And they took my kids.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jennifer Hopkins says her mother, Regina Googler, filed a false report with Child Services. Regina says Jennifer threw a telephone at her 9-year-old son.
Okay. At the first court hearing, you were present?
Correct.
You had an attorney?
Correct.
And the Child Protective Services attorney was present?
Correct.
And a social worker?
Correct.
When was that hearing?
The first one was November 6th.
And at that point, both the children were out of your custody?
Yes. They were in
Who were
foster
they
care.
with? Both children were in foster care with
Yes.
strangers?
Uh-huh.
Were both of your children returned to you after the hearing of
Nope.
November 6th?
No.
They were not?
No, they went to their fathers. Timmy went to live with his dad in Barstow, and Andrew went to live with his father in Hesperia.
Okay. Were both fathers present at the hearing?
Yes, they were.
And the fathers had attorneys?
Yes, they did.
And the fathers wanted custody of the children, at least temporarily?
Temporary custody. They'd rather have them, and I would have rather had them with them than foster care.
Okay, but the judge did not return the children to you after the hearing?
No. He gave me visitation, supervised visitation.
Did your mother participate in that hearing, by the
No.
way? Only the social worker?
It was the 3 parents, the social worker, my attorney, and their attorneys.
And also an attorney.
We were not allowed to be there, Miss Judy.
No. Listen. I was in family court for a long time. That's how I can ask these questions. Yes. In addition to all of the adults and their attorneys, the children also had an attorney.
Correct.
And was it the position of the children's attorney that the children should not be returned to your custody at that time?
Correct.
So, Child Protective Services, after an initial evaluation, and a judge hearing the testimony, Ms. Hopkins, of the social worker, and the judge, after hearing the recommendation of the children's law guardian, decided not to return the children to you at that time.
Correct.
Then you had a second hearing.
January 8th.
And on January 8th, were both of your children returned to you?
Yes, they were.
At the fact-finding hearing, did the court make a determination as to whether either of these children had been either abused or neglected?
I have a report from the social worker.
I'd like to see the court's finding.
I have this one here.
I'd like to see it, please. Am I correct that the recommendation of the court was that your older son be returned to his father?
That was my recommendation.
No.
If you read a little
The court's
further,
recommendation, in summary, is it is recommended that the court finds the allegations of the original petition to be true, as amended. And that is that you admitted
to throwing the phone.
To throwing the phone in the direction of the child. You admitted to that. So the court made a finding of neglect.
I admitted I threw the phone.
Then the court made a finding of neglect against you. And then there was a dispositional hearing. And at the dispositional hearing, it looks to me as if the recommendation was that Timothy go to live with his father and that custody be granted to the father. Now, did that happen?
Yes, it did. I gave
so that
up
both
that right.
So I'm correct, Ms. Hopkins, that Timothy is now in the custody of his father.
Yes, he is.
So that both children are not in your custody. Only one of them is in your custody.
I let Timmy go live with his father. The social worker and the kids' attorney asked me if I wanted him to go live with his father, and I said, it's in there. And I said, yes, because he's been transferred to 4 different schools in 3 months.
Look, There was a complaint filed. The complaint was filed by your mother because of an allegation that your son made that he was excessively corporally punished by you. Under the circumstances, she did the right thing. She saw a mark on his ear.
There were no
I'm
marks.
speaking. She saw a mark on his ear that was consistent with being hit. There is no question that your son, Timmy, told his attorney that he had in fact been hit by a phone or a piece of the phone by you in anger. The judge at the conclusion of the hearing made a finding that you did in fact neglect your child while in anger throwing an object which caused him to be injured. The judge set a disposition, which is deciding what to do about your two children, because if you were neglectful of one, the law presumes that you have neglected both, and the court scheduled a dispositional hearing. The recommendation that the court made was that your older child be turned over to his biological father and that custody be granted to the father. You may have agreed with that, but that was the recommendation. And that since you had attended anger management program,
Correct. Anger management and parenting.
I assume you would not have consented to unless you felt that you needed it.
I did need it.
And you went, and the judge at that time said that the judge would return your 5-year-old to you under supervision with a social worker who comes to your house occasionally.
He's home. That's the dispositional hearing.
I understand that. The 5-year-old was sent home to you, but Child Protective Services continues to monitor.
Correct.
Listen, I was in the family court 25 years. You're not talking to some jerk. Ms. Hopkins, what I'm telling you is you have no case against your mother at all, because a court found that you had, in fact, neglected, under the law, both your children by losing your temper and throwing the phone. So the greater issue is, it seems to me that your children, your younger child at least, who is still in your custody, and probably your older child, who I assume that you see under this visitation arrangement.
He'll be home in 6 months.
Well, who knows whether he's going to be home in 6 months, Ms. Hopkins. You're not entitled to that child any more than his father is entitled to his custody. Wherever the child is best suited, that's where the child is going to be. Right now, you have a finding of neglect against you. If the child is thriving in the care of his father, that's where the child will stay. And no judge is going to remove that child from his father's care. Maybe that the child will come home, maybe not. Now, this fiancé of yours that you called your mother about to ask her to help you get him out of the house at one point, there is no question in my mind that happened. Now, my question to you is, you have 2 children. They have 2 different fathers. You have a fiancé. Is he still living with you?
Yes, 4 years.
What kind of work does he do?
He's a correctional officer.
Does he have children of his own?
No, he does not.
Do you see your 5-year-old grandson?
I don't see either one of my grandchildren. That's one thing. When I filled out the paperwork with the CPS people, they handed me a packet and asked me to fill it out. I did, and I put in the paperwork that I would like. I didn't mind if my grandchildren went to their fathers, or even if my daughter got them back. I would just like to have grandparents' visitation rights.
There was orders made January 8th. She is not to have any contact with either child, because the social worker and the children's attorney and the social worker's supervisor found that she had lied to them and that the allegations that she had made were absolutely absurd. There were no marks when they removed the children from me. There was no marks whatsoever. They took them from me to the emergency room. There were no marks on the children.
Ms. Hopkins, the original complaint was made on the 3rd of October, and Timmy was not removed until the 10th of October. By that time, in that 8-day period, bruises go away, bruises fade. The fact that you acknowledge and that the court found that in anger you injured your son, which is what he reported to his lawyer. He didn't lie to his lawyer. He didn't lie to the social worker. And in fact, he didn't lie to his grandmother. And your mother didn't lie to Child Protective Services when she called and said he was hit behind the ear with a phone that Mommy hit him with. Well, to a 9-year-old, that's true. And the fact that by the time they removed him, whatever marks your mother saw on the 3rd of October had dissipated doesn't mean that you didn't see them on the 2nd. And all I can tell you is this. Children thrive on the widest possible community of love and affection. And it may or may not be that you will be successful in securing visitation rights.
She won't see him.
Shh. Pay attention.
In a quiet town called Millbrook, nestled between rolling hills and farmland in rural Pennsylvania, there lived a man named Gerald Whitmore. Gerald was 62 years old. He had been a county judge for over 30 years. He was the kind of man people respected without particularly liking. He was stern, precise, and not given to small talk. He wore the same style of dark suit every single day, kept his silver hair trimmed short, and walked with a measured pace that made people step aside on the sidewalk without quite knowing why. Gerald lived alone in a stone house on the edge of town. His wife Margaret had passed away 7 years earlier from pancreatic cancer, and his 2 adult children had moved to cities far enough away that visits happened twice a year at best. The house was too large for one person. 4 bedrooms, and just a formal dining room he never used, a garden that had gone wild since Margaret stopped tending it. But Gerald stayed. He was not a man who adapted to change willingly. His one companion was a dog, a 7-year-old golden retriever named Biscuit. Now, Gerald Whitmore was not the kind of man you would picture owning a dog named Biscuit. He was not the kind of man you would picture owning any dog at all. But Margaret had brought the puppy home 2 years before she got sick, and Gerald, who had protested the idea for weeks, found himself walking the animal every morning at 6:15, feeding him at precisely 7 and 5:30, and allowing him onto the couch in the evenings, though only on the left side where there was an old blanket laid out for that purpose. After Margaret died, Biscuit became something Gerald would never have admitted out loud. The dog became the only living thing that needed him, the only creature that greeted him at the door, the only reason he went outside on days when the weight of the empty house pressed down on him like a physical thing. Gerald talked to Biscuit, not in the baby voice some people use with animals. He talked to him the way you might talk to a colleague. He would narrate what he was doing. He would comment on the weather. He would, on particularly quiet evenings, tell the dog about cases he had heard that day, always careful to note that this was off the record. Biscuit, for his part, would listen with his head tilted slightly to the right, his brown eyes fixed on Gerald's face, tail thumping slowly against the couch cushion. That was the state of Gerald Whitmore's life on the morning of October 14th, when he opened the back door to let Biscuit out into the yard, and the dog did not come back. Gerald waited 5 minutes, then 10. Then he walked out into the yard, calling the dog's name in a voice that started firm and became something else entirely. The yard was fenced. 6-foot wooden fence, solid construction. Gerald had paid good money for it specifically so the dog could roam safely. But the gate on the east side was open. Not broken. Open. The latch had been lifted from the outside. Gerald felt something cold settle in his chest. He walked through the gate and into the alley that ran behind his property. He called the dog's name again and again. He walked up and down the street. He knocked on his neighbor's door. He drove slowly through every road in Millbrook with his window down, calling out until his voice went hoarse. By noon, Biscuit was gone. Gerald filed a police report. The officer who took it was a young man named Danny Reeves, who had appeared before Judge Whitmore twice on minor traffic violations. Danny was polite but clearly did not consider a missing dog to be a high-priority matter. He wrote down the details. Golden Retriever, 72 pounds, wearing a blue collar with tags, microchipped. He told Gerald they would keep an eye out. Gerald went home and sat in his kitchen and stared at the dog's water bowl on the floor. It was still full. He had filled it that morning, as he did every morning, with fresh water. He did not move it. He did not empty it. He just sat there and looked at it. The next day, Gerald put up flyers. Maybe he had never made a flyer in his life, and the result was characteristically plain. A photo of Biscuit, the word missing in large letters, a physical description, and his phone number. No reward was mentioned. Gerald considered it, but decided against it. He did not want to attract dishonest people. He put up 40 flyers around town. He stapled them to telephone poles, pinned them to bulletin boards at the grocery store and the post office and the library. He taped one to the window of the courthouse where he worked, which caused some talk among the staff because Judge Whitmore had never put anything personal in the courthouse before. 3 days passed. No calls. Gerald drove the streets again every evening. He checked the county animal shelter twice a day. He barely ate. He could not sleep properly because the house was too quiet without the sound of the dog breathing on the floor beside his bed. On the 4th day, Gerald received a phone call from a woman named Patricia Shelby. Patricia ran a small dog grooming business on the other side of town. She told Gerald that a man had come in that morning with a golden retriever that matched the description on the flyer. The man had asked for a full grooming, a bath, a nail trim, and he had specifically asked Patricia to remove the dog's collar. Patricia said she had noticed the dog was anxious. He kept looking at the door. He did not respond to the name the man used, which was Buddy. She said the man paid in cash and left quickly. Gerald asked Patricia if she knew the man. She said she did not, but she had seen him around town. Young, maybe late 20s, thin, deers with a tattoo of a snake on his left forearm. He drove a gray pickup truck with a dented tailgate. Gerald thanked Patricia and hung up the phone. Then he sat very still for a long time. Now, a reasonable person might have called the police at this point. A reasonable person might have passed along the information and let the proper authorities handle it. But Gerald Whitmore was a judge. And judges, particularly judges who have sat on the bench for 30 years, have a complicated relationship with the system they serve. Gerald knew exactly how this would play out. Danny Reeves would take the information. It would be assigned a low priority. The man with the truck might be questioned eventually. The dog might or might not be recovered. The wheels of the system would turn slowly. And in the meantime, Big Biscuit was in the hands of someone who had deliberately stolen him. Gerald decided to handle this himself. He started by driving to Patricia's shop and asking her to describe the man in more detail. She gave him what she could. White male, about 5'10", thin build, brown hair worn shaggy, the snake tattoo and a scar on his chin. He wore work boots and a flannel shirt. The truck was a Ford, she thought, maybe 10 years old. Gerald drove around town looking for gray Ford pickup trucks with dented tailgates. It took him 2 days. He found it parked outside a duplex on Birch Street, on the rougher side of Millbrook. The lower unit had a Confederate flag sticker in the window and a pile of empty beer cans on the porch. Gerald parked across the street and waited. After about an hour, a man came out the front door. Thin brown hair, a snake tattoo on his left forearm. He matched Patricia's description exactly. Gerald watched him get into the truck and drive away. Gerald sat there for a moment longer. Then he got out of his car and walked up to the duplex. He stood on the porch and listened. From inside, he could hear a dog barking. The bark was muffled, like the animal was in a back room. But Gerald knew that bark. He had heard it every day for 7 years. His hands were shaking. Gerald Whitmore's hands had not shaken in a courtroom in 30 years. Not during murder trials, not during sentencing, not during anything. But they shook now. He knocked on the door. No one answered. The barking intensified. Gerald knocked again, harder. Nothing. He tried the door handle, locked. Gerald walked around to the back of the duplex. There was a small yard enclosed by a chain-link fence. Through the back window, he could see a golden retriever in the kitchen pacing back and forth. The dog had no collar. His fur had been groomed recently, just as Patricia described. Gerald pressed his hand against the window. The dog stopped pacing. He looked at the window. Then he ran to it and started scratching at the glass, whimpering, his tail going so fast his whole body shook. That was Biscuit. There was no question. Gerald went back to his car. He sat there and thought about what to do. He was a judge. He knew the law better than almost anyone in this county. He knew that entering that duplex without permission would be illegal. He knew that any evidence obtained through an illegal entry would be inadmissible. He knew that if he handled this wrong, then the man who stole his dog could walk away without consequence. So Gerald did something he had never done before in his career. He called in a favor. He called Sheriff Tom Briggs, a man he had known for 20 years. Tom owed Gerald for several things over the years, small courtesies that accumulate between people in a small-town justice system. Gerald told Tom what he had found. He asked Tom to come to Birch Street. Tom arrived in 30 minutes. Gerald showed him the dog through the window. Tom agreed it looked like the dog from the flyer. Tom called for a unit to come sit on the house while he went to get a search warrant. The warrant took 4 hours. 4 hours during which Gerald sat in his car across the street, watching the duplex, terrified that the man would come home and leave with the dog before the paperwork came through. At 6:47 in the evening, Tom returned with the warrant. 2 deputies accompanied him. They knocked on the door. When no one answered, they entered. Biscuit was in the kitchen just as Gerald had seen through the window. The dog had water, but no food. The bowl was empty and had been licked clean. There were scratch marks on the back door where the dog had tried to get out. Tom brought Biscuit outside. Gerald was standing by his car. The dog saw him and pulled so hard on the leash the deputy holding him nearly fell over. Biscuit reached Gerald and jumped up, putting his paws on Gerald's chest, licking his face, whining in a high-pitched tone that made 2 of the deputies look away, because it was the kind of sound that gets to people. Gerald knelt down on the pavement. He put his arms around the dog and held on. When he did not say anything, he just held on. Tom's deputies stayed at the duplex. When the man came home at 8:15 that evening, they were waiting. His name was Kyle Renfro. He was 28 years old. He had a record. 2 prior convictions for petty theft, 1 for criminal mischief, and a pending charge for writing bad checks. When the deputies told him they had a warrant and had recovered the dog, Kyle said the dog was his. He said he had bought it from a guy in a parking lot. He could not name the guy. He could not describe the guy. He had no receipt. Kyle was arrested and charged with theft, specifically theft of a dog, which in Pennsylvania was classified as a misdemeanor. He was also charged with criminal trespass for entering Gerald's property to take the dog. And then something happened that turned this from a local story into something the whole state talked about. The case was assigned to Judge Gerald Whitmore's court. Now, in any properly functioning legal system, this would not happen. A judge cannot preside over a case in which he is the victim. It is a textbook conflict of interest. The case should have been reassigned immediately. And it would have been, except for one thing. The Millbrook County Courthouse had two sitting judges, Gerald Whitmore and Judge Alice Brennan. And Judge Brennan was in the hospital recovering from hip replacement surgery. She would not return to the bench for at least 6 weeks. The county had a process for bringing in a visiting judge from a neighboring county, but it took time. Paperwork, scheduling, bureaucracy. In the meantime, the case landed on Gerald's desk by default. Kyle Renfro's public defender, a young woman named Sarah Chen, immediately filed a motion for recusal. She argued correctly that Judge Whitmore could not be impartial in a case where his own dog had been stolen. Gerald read the motion in his chambers. He knew she was right. Every legal principle he had built his career on told him she was right. He denied the motion. His stated reason was practical. There was no available judge to take the case. The visiting judge process would take weeks. The defendant was entitled to a speedy resolution. Gerald argued in his written ruling that he could set aside his personal involvement and judge the case fairly. Sarah Chen appealed. The appeal went to the state court, which would take months to rule. In the meantime, the case proceeded. Word got out. In the local newspaper, the Millbrook Courier ran a front-page story with the headline, "Judge refuses to step aside in case of his own stolen dog." The story was picked up by the regional papers. Then the wire services. Within a week, legal commentators across the state were weighing in. Most of them said Gerald was wrong. A few said they understood the practical constraints. None of them said it was a good look. Gerald did not care. Or rather, he told himself he did not care. He went to work. He sat on the bench. He heard other cases. And he prepared for the trial of Kyle Renfro. The trial was set for November 12th. It was a bench trial, meaning Gerald would serve as both judge and jury. Sarah Chen had requested a jury trial, but Kyle Renfro himself waived that right, apparently believing in a spectacular miscalculation that the old judge might go easy on him because of the publicity. The prosecution's case was straightforward. The district attorney, a man named Howard Fisk, presented the evidence methodically. Patricia Shelby testified about the grooming appointment. The microchip records confirmed the dog's identity. The scratch marks on Gerald's gate showed it had been opened from outside. A neighbor's security camera, which Gerald had not known about until the police investigation, showed a gray pickup truck parked in the alley behind Gerald's house on the morning of October 14th at 5:47 in the morning. The resolution was not good enough to identify the driver, but the truck matched Kyle's vehicle. Sarah Chen did her best. She cross-examined each witness carefully. She pointed out that the security footage did not conclusively show Kyle's specific truck. She noted that there was no direct evidence placing Kyle at Gerald's property. She argued that Kyle could have genuinely believed he was buying a dog from a stranger, though Kyle's inability to provide any details about this alleged transaction made that argument difficult. Gerald listened to all of it. He sat on the bench in his dark suit, his face expressionless, his eyes moving between the witnesses and the attorneys and the defendant. He took notes in his small, precise handwriting. He asked clarifying questions that were, by all accounts, fair and relevant. The trial lasted 2 days. On the evening of the second day, Gerald retired to his chambers to consider his verdict. He sat at his desk for 3 hours. The courthouse emptied out around him. The janitor came and went. The lights in the hallway dimmed to their nighttime setting. Gerald sat with the case file open in front of him and a legal pad covered in notes. Here is what Gerald Whitmore knew. He knew Kyle Renfro had stolen his dog. He knew this not just from the evidence presented in court, but from the simple, visceral certainty of a man who had watched through a window as his own dog recognized him. He knew it in his bones. But he also knew something else. He knew that the evidence, while strong, was circumstantial. The security footage showed a gray truck, but could not confirm it was Kyle's. Patricia Shelby had identified Kyle in court, but she had only seen him once, briefly. An eyewitness identification was notoriously unreliable. The microchip proved the dog was Gerald's, but it did not prove Kyle had taken him. The grooming appointment, the removed collar, the cash payment, these were suspicious, but suspicion is not proof. Gerald also knew that he was not impartial. He had never been impartial in this case. From the moment he denied Sarah Chen's recusal motion, he had been lying, not to her, to himself. He had told himself he could be fair. He had told himself that 30 years on the bench gave him the discipline to set aside his feelings. But sitting in his chambers at 10 o'clock at night, with the building silent around him, he admitted the truth. He wanted to convict Kyle Renfro. He wanted to give him the maximum sentence. He wanted to punish the man who had taken the only thing left in his life that mattered. And that desire, that burning, unreasonable, deeply human desire, had colored everything, every question he asked, every objection he ruled on, every note he took. Gerald stared at the legal pad. He had written 2 words at the top of a blank page: guilty and not guilty. He had drawn a line between them. At 11:15, Gerald made his decision. The next morning, the courtroom was packed. The Millbrook Courier was there. 2 television crews from the regional stations had set up outside. Sarah Chen sat with her client, who wore a borrowed sport coat that did not fit him properly. Howard Fisk sat at the prosecution table with his files neatly arranged. The gallery was full of townspeople who had come to see what the judge would do. Gerald entered the courtroom at 9 o'clock sharp. He took his seat. He looked out at the room. Then he did something no one expected. He recused himself. He read a statement he had written the night before. He said that after careful reflection, he had concluded that he could not render an impartial verdict in this case. He said that his personal involvement as the victim had compromised his ability to evaluate the evidence objectively. He said that the interests of justice required that the case be heard by a judge who had no stake in the outcome. Now, he announced that he was contacting the neighboring county to arrange for a visiting judge immediately, and that the case would be continued until that judge was available. Then he said something that was not in the written statement. He looked directly at Kyle Renfro and said, "I believe you stole my dog. I believe you came onto my property in the dark and took an animal that you knew belonged to someone else. I believe you did this for reasons I cannot understand and do not care to understand. But what I believe does not matter. What matters is what can be proved in a fair proceeding before a fair judge. And I am not that judge. Not in this case." He stood up and he walked out of the courtroom. The visiting judge, a woman named Judge Patricia Moreno from Chester County, took the case 3 weeks later. She reviewed all the evidence. That she heard additional testimony that Gerald's trial had not included, specifically a jailhouse informant who testified that Kyle had bragged about stealing a purebred golden retriever and planned to sell it. Sarah Chen challenged the informant's credibility, but the testimony combined with the other evidence was enough. Judge Moreno found Kyle Renfro guilty of theft and criminal trespass. She sentenced him to 11 months in the county jail with credit for time served and ordered him to pay restitution of $3,200 to cover Gerald's expenses during the search. Kyle appealed. The appeal was denied. Gerald followed the proceedings from a distance. He did not attend the trial before Judge Moreno. He did not want to be a distraction. He read about the verdict in the Courier, or he's sitting at his kitchen table with Biscuit lying on the floor beside his chair. The story did not end there. Gerald's recusal became something of a case study. The State Bar Association referenced it in a continuing legal education seminar about judicial ethics. A law professor at the University of Pennsylvania wrote a paper analyzing the decision, arguing that Gerald's willingness to step aside after initially refusing demonstrated something important about the capacity for self-correction in the judiciary. The paper noted that Gerald's original denial of the recusal motion was clearly wrong, but that his eventual decision to reverse course and to do so publicly, with an explanation that acknowledged his own bias, was rare and noteworthy. Gerald did not read the paper. He did not care about being a case study. He cared about the thing he had almost done. Because here is what Gerald Whitmore understood about himself after that night in his chambers. He understood that he had been ready to convict a man based on anger and grief rather than evidence. He understood that the certainty he felt in his gut, the absolute knowledge that Kyle was guilty, was real but was not the same thing as legal proof. He understood that the system he had spent his life serving existed precisely for moments like this, moments when a person in power was too close to a case to see it clearly. And he understood that he had almost failed. Not because he was a bad judge, because he was a human being who loved his dog. Gerald continued to serve on the bench for another 4 years before retiring at age 66. His record was what it had always been. Thorough, careful, all unsentimental. He was not beloved. He was not hated. He was respected, and in a small-town courthouse, that is probably the most you can ask for. In retirement, Gerald did something that surprised everyone who knew him. He began volunteering at the county animal shelter. 2 mornings a week, he would drive to the shelter and walk the dogs that were waiting for adoption. He did not make a fuss about it. He did not tell people. The shelter staff learned that the retired judge was quiet, reliable, and had a particular talent for calming anxious animals. He also began mentoring young public defenders. Sarah Chen was one of the first. He told her that she had been right to file the recusal motion and that he had been wrong to deny it. He told her that a good lawyer fights for their client even when the judge is against them, and that she had done exactly that. Sarah later said it was the most unexpected compliment she had ever received. Biscuit lived to be 12 years old. He passed away on a Tuesday morning in April in his sleep, on the left side of the couch, where the old blanket was still laid out. Gerald found him when he came downstairs at 6:15, as he did every morning to begin their walk. Gerald buried Biscuit in the backyard, beneath a dogwood tree that Margaret had planted the year they moved in. He dug the grave himself. It took him most of the morning because the ground was heavy with spring rain and he had to stop several times to rest. He did not call anyone. He did not ask for help. When it was done, he stood by the grave for a long time. He did not speak. There was nothing to say. The dog had been his companion through the worst years of his life, and now the dog was gone, and the house would be quieter than it had ever been. Gerald went inside. He washed his hands. He made a cup of coffee. He sat at the kitchen table and looked at the empty space on the floor where the water bowl used to be. He had removed it the day Biscuit died. He could not stand to see it full when there was no one to drink from it. That evening, Gerald drove to the animal shelter. It was not his usual day. The staff was surprised to see him. He walked through the kennels slowly, stopping at each cage, reading the information cards. At the end of the row, in the last kennel, there was a 3-year-old mutt. Part lab, part something else. Brown with a white patch on his chest. The dog was sitting in the corner of the kennel, not barking, when just watching Gerald with calm, dark eyes. Gerald looked at the dog. The dog looked at Gerald. "What is your name?" Gerald asked. The information card said the dog's name was Rufus. Gerald nodded. "Rufus," he said. "That will do." He filled out the adoption paperwork that evening. He took Rufus home. He set up the water bowl in its old spot on the kitchen floor. He laid the blanket on the left side of the couch. Rufus sniffed every corner of the house methodically, then walked to the couch, climbed onto the blanket, and lay down. Gerald sat beside him. He did not talk to the dog. Not yet. That would come later. For now, it was enough that the house was not empty. A few months later, Gerald was at the hardware store buying a new latch for his back gate. He had replaced it after Biscuit was stolen, but wanted something sturdier. As he was leaving the store, he passed a young man in the parking lot. The man was loading lumber into a gray pickup truck. It was Kyle Renfro. Kyle saw Gerald at the same moment. They stood about 15 feet apart. Kyle's face went tight. He put down the lumber and stood there, clearly unsure whether to speak or walk away. Gerald looked at him for a long moment. Kyle had served his sentence. He had paid his restitution. In the eyes of the law, his debt was settled. Gerald knew this because he had checked. He was not proud of checking, but he had done it. "Judge," Kyle said. His voice was flat, neither hostile nor friendly. "Mr. Renfro," Gerald said. There was a silence. "I got a job," Kyle said, as if Gerald had asked. "Construction, with Harmon Brothers." "Good," Gerald said. He meant it, or he tried to mean it, which was close enough. Another silence. "I'm sorry about your dog," Kyle said. "I mean taking him. It was wrong, I know that." Gerald studied the young man's face. He was looking for something, though he was not sure what. Sincerity, maybe, or the absence of it. He could not tell. He had spent 30 years reading faces in the courtroom, and he still could not tell. "Why did you do it?" Gerald asked. Kyle shifted his weight. He looked at the ground, then back at Gerald. "Somebody told me purebred golden sell for $1,500. I needed money. I saw the dog in your yard. It wasn't more complicated than that." "And you did not think about the person you were taking him from?" "No, sir, I did not." Gerald nodded. There was nothing useful in being angry about it. The dog was gone now anyway, gone in a different sense, and the anger had settled into something quieter and less destructive over the months. "Do you have a dog now?" Gerald asked. Kyle blinked, psych, clearly not expecting the question. No, sir. Get one from the shelter, Gerald said, not someone else's yard. He turned and walked to his car. He put the new latch in the passenger seat. He drove home. Rufus met him at the door, tail wagging. Gerald knelt down and scratched behind the dog's ears in the way he had already learned Rufus liked best. We are home, Gerald said. And that was enough. There is something about this story that sticks with people when they hear it. It is not the theft itself, which was ordinary and stupid, the kind of petty crime that fills courtrooms every day across the country. It is not the legal drama, though the recusal question made for good headlines. It is not even the reunion, though that moment outside the duplex, when a man knelt on the pavement and held his dog, is hard to forget. What sticks is the night Gerald spent in his chambers. Because that night, alone in the quiet courthouse, Gerald Whitmore came face to face with something most people never have to confront. He discovered that the principles he had built his life on, fairness, impartiality, the belief that the law applies equally to everyone, these principles could be broken by something as simple as love for a dog. He did not break them, but he came close. He sat in that chair and felt the weight of how easy it would have been, how satisfying it would have been, how no one in that courtroom would have blamed him, because the man was almost certainly guilty, and the dog was almost certainly stolen, and the evidence, while circumstantial, pointed in only one direction, but almost certainly is not the same as proven, and a fair trial is not something you get to skip because the judge already knows the answer. The whole point of the system, the reason it exists at all, is to protect people in exactly the moments when protection feels undeserved. Gerald understood this. He had always understood it in the abstract. That night, he understood it in the specific, personal, painful way that only comes when the principle costs you something. He chose the principle over the satisfaction. He did not feel good about it. He did not feel noble. He felt tired and old and sad, sitting alone in a dark courthouse, missing his dog, but he made the right call. And in the morning, he walked into the courtroom and said so out loud, just in front of the cameras and the reporters and the people of his town, knowing that they would remember not the courage of the decision, but the mistake that preceded it. That is the story. A man loved his dog. Someone took the dog. The man got the dog back. And then, when it mattered most, the man chose to be the thing he had always claimed to be. It is a small story in the end, but the small ones are usually the truest.